I've been talking to myself this whole time, and I'm gonna have to repeat that little spiel. So I can repeat it fast because the spiel is. Thank you for letting me know. Um, so let me redo my spiel. So the spiel is this. We Artifacts Rob on Twitch, twitch.tv artifactsrob/schedule if you want to know what's coming up. This is a co-learning stream, so I'm just learning for certifications for CCAD, CKA, and CKS. That's applications developer, administrator, and security specialist. This is you can participate through chat on YouTube or on Twitch, and you can do anything like that. I'm going to be reading. We're going to primarily be reading through the Kubernetes.io site and other documentation sites that are available for the certification exam. We're not going to be using any resources outside of those, anything that would be able to be used on the exam. That's not because anything's particularly bad. It's just because I don't want to. I want the information to be fresh and available. The certifications are all lab based and they're timed. So little things like learning how to use Vim properly matter because that's all you get. And so we'll be doing all of that, but I'm going to be exploring different angles on it. I tend to go deeper than what's required for the certification because I'm working in this every day at my job that I was hired as infrastructure engineer and been tasked with doing putting Jupyter Hub in Kubernetes and a bunch of other things. But my knowledge of Kubernetes is ongoing and I still need to build up. So the reason I'm going to certify, by the way, really quickly is to help y'all. Whether or not you decide to end up certifying, I kind of want to cover all the bases that the Cloud Native Foundation, which is the leading authority in Cloud Native these days, has decided are needed to be learned, for better or worse. And some of the things that, including like they added Helm, you got to learn that for the next round of certifications, are things that I might not like, but we got to learn it. So that's where I'm coming from. We're going to be going till 3. At 3, I'll be leaving and running stuff. And then tonight I'll be back doing whatever, coding, playing, chatting, whatever. I don't have a date tonight. I did. My wife's decided to take it off. We were going to go to the mural walk, but she's decided to take it off because she's got to take her art to Raleigh for her show on Monday. If you know me, if you've been following me personally, I do have an Instagram Artifacts Rob. If you want to know more of the personal side of me, it's mostly filled with yoga, art, and running, stuff like that. So let's get into it. People who know me know that I do links for my browsing usually, but for my Kubernetes certification preparation, I've deliberately been using a graphics browser because that's all you get. You don't get to use links. So I'm deliberately using this because I want to know where to click and I want to be aware. There's been several changes to this documentation as I have been going through it. Some for the better, some are a little bit more confusing. And we've just been starting at the very top and going through. We've made it through several things, so I'm going to skip through them really fast. We did what is Kubernetes. We did the concepts there. We've been spending a lot of time on this diagram. In fact, yesterday I wanted to submit a change ticket because I think issue. I feel like they omitted the container engine there. The nodes need a container engine. We're not going to regroup with that. We spent a lot of time diving into the Kube API server, what etcd is, kubescheduler. This is all in the playlist. This is all in the Colearning Cloud Native Kubernetes playlist on my YouTube if you want to go see, very long-winded kind of stuff. It's not the kind of thing you want to just watch and not do something else. But it might help you. You might find something interesting. Every once in a while, we'll have somebody who really knows about Kubernetes come on in. We've had members of the board actually participate. And so yeah. We're just kind of scooping ahead. So we ended with node components yesterday. We talked about kubelet. These are all things that have to be installed on a node. A node is a machine, whether it's virtual or real. So kubelet, kubeproxy, and container runtime. Just a recap of what I think you should do to prepare, what I'm doing to prepare. I feel like everybody needs a single node cluster on their computer. In this case, Minikube or Kind. I've chosen Minikube lately. I like Kind a lot as well. Minikube is a virtual machine that has a Docker container engine in it, as well as all of the stuff with the controller plane. And then what I've been coming to learn too is that Minikube saves you some of the pain of setting up an actual Kubernetes cluster that you would normally do with KubeADM, which I don't even understand. I don't know it at all. So the other piece of preparation that I would recommend for everybody so far, including myself, is to make yourself a a cluster, a physical cluster of some kind. They're using Raspberry Pi or old computers or whatever. I actually wrote about this. I do feel that I changed my own recommendations based on this because I don't know if it's going to be on the test or not, but there's this reference to this cloud controller manager, which is specifically designed to integrate with cloud providers. I don't see how you can practice that or learn it, even though it's a dash line, unless you have practiced with a cloud provider. So I've supplemented my training plan to include at least some amount of cloud. So that would mean having a local, Minikube cluster. This is really good for applications development. The CCAD, this is going to be a big part of that. I use that, by the way, I use that every day. If you want to watch my actual work streams, my co-working streams, you can see me using Minikube to practice setting up Jupyter Hub configurations and stuff. Build a virtual cluster in a VM using only VirtualBox. This is something I've been experimenting with. So let's say you don't have Raspberry Pi or something like that. If you have enough cores, you can actually build out virtual machines, like plain old virtual machines, and put whatever on there, Ubuntu, K3OS, or whatever you want. And you can actually do the installation as if you had it on hardware, right? So that might actually be faster for a lot of people and cheaper if you've already got a big gaming system or something with multiple CPUs. Build a small on-prem hardware cluster, Raspberry Pis, old Mac Minis, old hardware, doesn't matter. This is something that I think everybody should do. I don't think you can call yourself a Kubernetes administrator until you've done that, because I don't see how you can. I mean, there are some enterprises that probably are only cloud, but there's a lot of work on-prem, so I would do that. And then build a small cloud cluster, which is all the rage these days. Whether it's Azure, GCP, or AWS, people are doing that. And then build a small hybrid cluster. And this is something that I understand more now, having talked about the cloud provider API. So you can have nodes, on-prem nodes, and also have nodes in the cloud. And that's called a hybrid. It's a little bit, you got latency issues with communication between them, but not anything really substantial if you're, kind of offline your jobs. I don't know how that would work for HPC. In fact, at work, I work for an HPC department, high performance computing, specifically related to machine learning. And this hybrid thing is something we're, talking about. So because of the performance issues, it's, you can't, we're talking about stuff that needs multiple cores, like on the order of 60 to 80 cores in order to run effectively. And so those kind of jobs have to have a very specific requirement set. And frankly, if you hear me talking about stuff in that regard, the Kubernetes learning that I'm doing is definitely flavored toward high performance machine learning clusters, because that's specifically the team I'm on right now. I haven't done any machine learning myself. I've played around with TensorFlow a little bit, but nothing that really qualifies. So anyway, let's go down to the node controllers, or the node components. The node components that we talked about so far are the kubelet, the kubeproxy. From what I understand, a kubelet is just a run and go program that has to be on there. It's the endpoint agent, and I've actually written software very similar to Kubernetes, not for orchestration but for auditing for IBM. We would write endpoints. I actually wrote it in compiled Perl, believe it or not. And we would deploy our endpoints on Windows and everything all over the place to do some audit compliance checks, and then to report back up to the central kind of thing. There was no orchestration going on. There was no remediation. It was always the holy grail that we wanted to do. And it looks like Kubernetes kind of does that more and more. So it's just cool. It's good for me to read about this. But the agent, when I see the word agent, it just reminds me of the Perl agent that I wrote. See, I also wrote my own protocol based on GPG, which is fun. So kubeproxy. Kubeproxy, we talked at length about this because, the most important thing about kubeproxy, I'm just reviewing my learning from yesterday. That's why I'm doing this. Hopefully it helps you. But so the interesting thing about kubeproxy that came up yesterday is that it uses the operating system packet filtering layer. On Linux, that means TCP/IP tables, IP tables. So if IP tables is on by default, we've determined on most OSs, traditional Linux OSs. We weren't sure on Alpine if it's built by default. I think it makes sense that it went, Alpine's a container. It's not a base machine like image. So the kernel, it would have to be disabled in the host kernel. So I'm confusing that. Bottom line is it's going to use IP tables. right? And so if you're using IP tables for anything else on that computer, or if your company has some sort of like policy about how they're going to deploy their machines, or some standard image or something that has some standard IP tables magic going on, this concerns me because Proxy is going to automatically use that TCP IP tables, and it probably will, relatively contain itself, but there's no guarantees, right? So if somebody fucks up Proxy, sorry, you're done, because it might mess up other things that are going on in IP tables. There's this thing called Proxy forwards the traffic. Otherwise, Proxy forwards the traffic itself. I don't know. I'm anticipating. I'm going to dig into this later, so I'm reminding myself what I'm going to dig into. This is all node stuff. I've been mostly on the application side, so the node is more of the administrator side. This really interests me though, because I want to know under what conditions Proxy would forward the traffic and what protocols it's using to do that. And I don't know. So I'm interested in that. I'm trying to determine under what conditions that would even happen. Because pretty much every Linux system on planet Earth has IP tables enabled. So this makes me want to look at the source code, which we actually did for the API component we were reading about it. Container runtime. We talked about Docker, Containerd, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Containerd is the preferred and the default these days everywhere. Containerd is still my favorite. A lot of people like Creo as well, from what I know. Add-ons. Add-ons use Kubernetes resources, daemon set deployment to implement cluster. A daemon set, these are Kubernetes resources, which we'll talk about. We have to go through every single one. We're talking about components now, but we'll get into the API and then the resources. And you have to memorize all the resources. That's a big thing. There's more than a dozen or so, and people are making custom ones all the time. So we're going to do that. Because these are provided cluster level features, namespace resources for add-ons belong within the Kube system namespace. We fired up a Minikube cluster, and we noticed that the Kube namespace system is the only namespace. There's not more than one. You can divide it if you want, but by default, Minikube, all of the control. Let me show you this. I actually love doing this, so I'm going to do it again. I don't think I have any Minikubes running. I turned it off for Dota yesterday. So MK profile list. If you do profile by itself, it just tells you the active profile. It's like context in kubectl, if you know what that is. But so it shows you there's the current active one, right? But it's not started, and I don't even think it exists. I'd have to type start. Yeah, there's no profiles found. So if I do this is a default one, which means it would make a new one. I don't mind doing that. I've been trying to get used to doing MK Pro. So okay, this is alias for Minikube. Not alias, this is a shortcut command, but MK start Minikube, and I want to force it to use the VirtualBox driver, which it will not pick up on its own. It'll use the Docker by default. If it finds Docker on the system, it'll use Docker by default, and it will inject all of its stuff into the Docker thing and not even use a VM. It didn't used to do that. That's a relatively new thing, and that's exactly what Kind does. So it's almost like Minikube is taking one from Kind and saying, hey, by default, we do exactly what Kind does, except for in a consistent way, blah, blah, blah. But I actually like the VirtualBox method, even though it takes longer, because it's a closer simulation to what I would actually have. I would have, and we were drawing drawings yesterday, and we were, drawing this kind of stuff and drawing pictures and stuff. You can consider your Kubernetes cluster to be kind of like a network within, your internal network. It's almost like, you have a line around it. And then within that you have, you have different services, and then you have different groups of resources, which are given us a common namespace. And the logical thing, I could probably pull that diagram up for you again. People were laughing at my drawing. But so this is why I have to turn it on before I play Dota or something, or OBS it gets really mad because I'm stealing CPU power from my other stuff on the system. Let's actually go see. Yeah. And this is, I didn't realize that there was actually a VBox command. There's a VBox command line interface. That's the first day I realized that, and I put it to do for me to go learn it. Somebody says, you can do all that allocation and everything and change the number of CPUs and everything for your VMs from the command line. I was like, what? It's the first time I ever heard you could do that with VirtualBox. Honestly, that's the first time I've ever heard you can do anything with a virtual machine engine from the command line. Have you found and plugged your Wacom? My Wacom tablet? No, I haven't. No, my wife's going out there to go look, but maybe we'll do that another time. Yeah, we were playing around with the Wacom tablet yesterday because I was drawing horribly. All right, so what do we got? We got configure RBAC. So now we have a Minikube and MK profile list. We'll actually have something in it now. It's running the Docker runtime. I told it specifically to use the VM VirtualBox driver. Oh no, that's the container runtime. I always forget that's what that is. The driver is not the runtime. The runtime is a container runtime. The driver is the Minikube driver. Got it. All right. So it's using Docker and not containerd. I wonder why. I wonder if it just detected Docker on the system. This is something interesting too. I found out yesterday. So we were talking about network proxy routing and all that. So Minikube does all this magic for you. If you're setting up your own cluster with kubeadm, no, you have to do this all on your own. It doesn't automatically route the port and everything from your virtual machine out to other stuff. It doesn't encapsulate it. Minikube does, and so that's one reason to use it. So this is the IP of the virtual box, the virtual box machine, virtual machine, and this is a port that it poked into it called 8443, which port forwards to 6443, which is the encrypted version of the REST API port for Kubernetes, the master control, API, if you want. There is also another one running locally on 8080. So that was some stuff we uncovered the other day. It's running version 1.2.0 of, I assume that's Kubernetes and not Minikube. I wonder why it's so old. I need to update. Yeah, I probably need to update that. All right, so what I was trying to show you is the name of the kube system namespace. So do K, so now we can use all our K commands, right? So this is all kubectl behind the scenes. We can do K get pods or get PO, it's get pods. There's no namespace defined. Oh, right. We have no items in the namespace. So I have to do K get PO dash all, and that will get everything, whether or not it's in my current namespace, which is default or not. And that includes the control plane namespace, which is, what the frick? Is it really? Oh my God, I wish people would just get it together. There, it's -A, capital A. So here's all the core system stuff that we were talking about in the docs. So the docs are saying kube system, right? Kube system. And there's your etcd component we talked about in the control plane. It's a control plane component. We have the core DNS, which is now, I understand, somebody talked about this the other day, and that's now standardized. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to repeat myself a lot here, but I'm going to spend a lot of time on landscape.cncf.io. It's one of the best things that CNCF provides. It's like all the stuff and where it's at. Very great visual. It's a good case for visualization. But as you can see, etcd is a graduated project. Kubernetes itself, of course, is graduated. It's a core piece of the Kubernetes, period. There's really no, there's Docker Swarm and Nebula and Nomad. Where's Nomad? There is Nomad. Most of these other container orchestration things, there's a reason it's called the Cloud Native Foundation and not the Kubernetes Foundation, is because they actually have other, technologies involved, and you might want some of these, less complicated technologies if you don't want Kubernetes. But Kubernetes is largely, obviously, the main thing. I notice these other projects are not graduated, which I think is interesting. So I feel like graduated means it's a part, it's like officially sanctioned, right? So core DNS is now included with Kubernetes. So at least it is with Minikube. I don't know. We have to figure out. etcd, of course, is built in and included. gRPC is not. It's just the main way of communicating between things. I think gRPC is actually, no, I take it back. gRPC is included in the control plane nodes. Those controllers are talking to each other over gRPC. I remember hearing that. So correct me if I'm wrong if you know better. So Kube API Minikube, API server Minikube. So we have a controller manager, which just manages all the controllers. A controller is any program that follows the controller model, and we'll talk about controller model later. It's basically just a big event loop, and it's just, listening to things that are happening and responding. We have Kube Proxy. It's interesting because this looks like it was it is. So this is a pod that was deployed. So the Kube Proxy, it's interesting. It's still a member of the Kube system namespace, even though this would be running on a node, and because it's a single node cluster, there's just one computer that's also running a worker node, right? Normally you'd have a node that would be separate from the control plane stuff, although they also have to be nodes. What we can't test here, unfortunately, and I need to look at this, is we can't, and that means that kubeproxy and kubelet and all that stuff have to be even on the control plane machines as well. So in other words, that etcd and all of the other control plane components must run on a Kubernetes node. I can't state that definitively right now. Yesterday I felt like we could kind of say that definitively, but I haven't seen it. I can't promise that that's true, but I don't see how you could run any of this unless you have a node, because all of these components use the core Kubernetes infrastructure and API communication methods. So I would suspect that they have to have the main node components, which are, I'm gonna go back to them. They have to have a container runtime, a kube proxy, and a kubelet. Nothing, not even the control planes, can run without that installed. All right, so we talked about add-ons. Kube system, we talked about the cluster DNS. The scheduler is just, I hate the name scheduler. I tried to rename scheduler to, what were we gonna call it? We had another name for it. It doesn't just schedule things, it makes sure things can run. So it's kind of like the babysitter, you know. It's matchmaker. It's not just scheduler, it's a scheduler and a matchmaker. So it decides what things can run based on, do you match my specification, affinity, right? You probably run etcd elsewhere. Yeah, but you'd have to, yeah. I don't know. It's probably not best practice. I'm just curious as to what's possible, right? Storage provisioner. This isn't anything we've talked about yet, and I'm super interested in reading about this. This is the thing that handles all your PVC, your persistent volume, whatever, controllers. And we'll get to storage later, but I'm super interested in how the magic behind storage, because it's so different from what I'm used to. Cluster DNS is a DNS server, in addition to other DNS services in your environment, which serves DNS records for Kubernetes services. While the other add-ons are not strictly required, all Kubernetes clusters should have a cluster DNS, as many examples rely on it. Interesting. Interesting. I thought we already covered that. Yeah. Well, CoreOS is the thing that's on there, so we saw that right here, right? CoreOS. There's your cluster DNS right there. And you know it's in a deployment because it's got a weird number after it. This is just a pod, probably, or a service. And this is probably just a pod or a service, and this is a deployment because it can be rolled back and then gets a new number. Anytime it's got some weird shit after it like that, that usually means it's in a pod. Strictly speaking, it's a replica set inside of a deployment. But we don't know. I don't know what the code is to deploy that. I mean, the YAML or whatever. Probably could know though. Should we try it? Yeah, let's do some splunking. So K describe, no. K get this. That's probably get node. No, I don't know what it is. Is it a deploy? Deployment, and I'm gonna have to put one namespace though. Kube system. I probably use describe. Persistent volume claim. Yeah. PVC and PV. Yeah. All right. Thanks for that. Yeah. Oh, get all in the namespace. Yeah. Let's do that. It'll tell us what everything is, right? Actually, no. You can do. No, it's Minikube manifest. That's right. It's a different thing. No, it's Helm manifest. I'm confusing my Helm work. Helm is another beast entirely. I've got all kinds of stuff floating in my head right now. Oh my. So, pods. So core DNS. God, this is a great command. Get all. I didn't know there was a get all until today. Today I learned. Thank you. Cat clone with syntax highlighting. Oh no, I don't like that. I know what you're talking about. Pod, core DNS, blah, blah, blah. So these are all the pods, but where do they come from? They had to come from a daemon set or a replica set. cluster IP, that's the DNS service. That's a service. So we have pods, services, and then this just serves up IPs internally, so there's no external input, ingress, or whatever. Node selector. So I didn't know node selector was a thing. I guess it is. Oh, no, it's not. Never mind. Okay. Deployment. Core DNS is a deployment for sure. Yeah, and it is a replica set. So the replica set came from the deployment. I want to say the kubelet is too, though. Oh, kubeproxy. I'm going to say, where's kubeproxy coming from then? Where did kubeproxy come from? It doesn't say who it belongs. Oh, there it is. It's a daemon set. Okay, fine. All right, daemon sets are another thing. So daemon sets, you get one per node, and they all have individual numbers because they all report up, but they're the same thing. So that's why they get these extra naming at the end. All right, that makes much more sense. So kubeproxy is a daemon set. Nice. Kubeproxy. God, this really helps me understand this. I have to write a note about this. This is useful information for me. So, a question. What exactly are the resource types of control plane components? This also confirms without a doubt that you have to have the node stuff running in order to run those components, because you can't communicate with them without it. You can't, if you don't have a kubelet on there, you can't even talk. So that says there's a kubelet running in the minikube someplace. If we were able to get in a minikube on the host, which we can actually do, we could SSH right into the node. I should probably do that. Oh God, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, what exactly are the resource types of control plane? So you can do k get all -n cube system to see them all. Thank you for that help. Appreciate that. Oh, bat. It does it backwards. Or is that? Actually, no. There's tack. You can cat backwards. It's an actual thing. It's not some add-on. It's been there since the beginning. I never knew. I learned that last year. I like finding creative ways to. Anyway, what exactly resources? Okay, so that gives me that. Let's go here. Let's do some more experimentation. I'm actually going to shift here. I've been using this convention of saving this for my log. That's still in Kafka. What the fuck? Uh-oh. Spaghetti-o. Give me... I have to set up my base tmux, otherwise we're going to be reseeding all day. And I'm going to call this log. And via log. All right, and then I get a new one. Okay, so here we go. So let's, I want to SSH into the node. So let's check it out. That's all I had to do. Minikube SSH. This is actually so easy. I'm starting to use this for boost content to teach Linux, because it's so easy to get a Linux terminal. A true Linux terminal. It's even persistent, for better or worse. You can create files here and they'll still be around. Because why? Because you're on the node. I love how it puts you in home Docker too. Why did it put me in home Docker? I don't know. It made me Docker as the default user. Yeah. Yep, I'm running as Docker. Docker's 1000. Oh my God, it's got Podman on it. They put Podman in Minikube? Who did that? I don't know if I like that. I thought we were not going to be tied to Podman. Hello. Oh, you're doing stuff?
There's popcorn all over it.
I know. Don't pick it up. I got it.
All right, because I was going to wash your sheets. I guess I'll wash
Are
your
you?
sheets first.
All right. It's fine. So here we go. We're going to do the next pot. Wait. What were we doing? We were trying to find out if we have I don't know what we're doing. Let's see resolve. I want to see, let's look at the DNS. Ooh, this is super interesting. See, this is the actual machine. Oh my God. You know what this means? I wonder if this is I wonder if this is the actual node. I bet it is. I bet it is. What do you bet me? It is. Oh my God, it's like running the old top. How many CPUs does it have? Does it say it has two? CPU 0 and CPU 1. This is the actual underlying node running in Minikube. I can't tell you how awesome this is to me. I'm like getting kind of excited from this. This looks like it's running Red Hat. In fact, I'm positive it's running systemd. Did Ubuntu go to systemd? I think it did, right? What type of computer is this? Well, I'm trying to figure out what the default node type is. It should be, isn't it in release or whatever? There's no LSB release thing. I looked already. This is cool because I'm actually logged into the node that's hosting containerd. So watch, if I run ps-ef grep container containerd. Yep, it's containerd. So containerd is Docker. Run Docker containerd. Namespace Moby. This is super cool. This is my Docker. This has Docker installed. You guys, it is LSB release. Yeah, that's the file name, right? The command is also released, but it's not there. See, I'm trying to figure out what operates. The reason I'm so excited about this, you understand that just by installing Minikube, I have Docker installed on a system that I can log into immediately. with MKSSH. Do you have any idea how great that is for helping beginners learn? They don't have to install anything else. Step 1, install VirtualBox. Step 2, install Minikube. Boom. No WSL, no anything else. You don't have to screw around with any of that. That's it. And they're both like click through installers on Mac, Windows, and Linux. All the same thing. Uname-R. Yeah, that's a good option. Let's try that. No, Uname is just the kernel release. That's not. It says Minikube. It doesn't have. This is looking like. This is. I mean, it's either a custom distro that they made, or it's looking a little bit Red Hatty because it has you saw that, right? It has Podman in it, and Podman is a Red Hat thing. And I think that Minikube is being maintained by Red Hat, if I remember right. Actually, no, look at this. It's got multiple options on it. That's okay. So this is cool. This looks like they're using the same virtual machine image for everything. So whether I had said I wanted a Creo or I wanted, I'm just kind of spelunking around in the machine that's hosting all of this, goodness. Does that have K on here? Is that kubectl? No. How can you not have kubectl on here? I guess they don't. No, because it's an infrastructure piece. It doesn't have kubelet. Does it have a kubelet running? This is all the stuff I was asking myself before. I was like, does this count? Or is there a separate virtual machine that's running that we don't know about? And that somebody showed me a command to see how many things are running on a virtual machine. I think there's only one though. I don't think it has two virtual machines. I think it's a single virtual machine, which would mean there's only one machine that's running. This is hard because it's got to have kubelet on here. It has to. It's got to, because it's a node for sure. Yep, there it is. Kubelet, right there. Minikube binaries, view kubelet. So it's definitely running kubelet. What else is it running? Is it running? Look at that. Here's the startup. It's running container runtime Docker. This is a huge discovery for me. I am going to be geeking out on this for a long time. This is super cool because I can actually look at a machine and that's running everything from the kubelet and the other stuff, which means there should also be over here, now that we know, there should be a kube API server, right? So there's no, we know there's an API server. We don't know if there's a kube API server. You know what I want to do here? I want to make my own account and pull down my workspace image and be able to use all my fancy tools on this thing. Actually, that's not even that hard. I should probably do it because there's already Docker here. Yeah, watch. Oh my God. Docker run -it -rm RWX rob / assuming it can get out to the internet, which I think it can. workspace, which I haven't updated in a long time. Oh my God, it's going to work. This is going to be so awesome. I'm going to get my entire workspace environment that you see me stream from every day running inside Minikube with Minikube SSH. Oh, without any extra installation. This is so cool. It's OS release? Mm. Oh my God, this is so cool. You think it's Google, Taniwa? Welcome, by the way. But why is it running Podman then? That made me think maybe Red Hat. I think I'm wrong. But username, I want RWX Rob. This is my workspace container that I made. I think it already has a 1,000, so I don't think it's going to like it. So I'll do 1,001. Oh, no, this is a container, so why do I care? I don't care. Because it's a container within a container. Oh, I know. No, because it will conflict, because the artifacts will conflict. Yeah. No. I'm going to try this again. So we're going to workspace. I'll leave it as you for now. I'll accept some of my defaults. This is a tool that I made a long time ago. It's a Docker thing. Holy shit, watch. Okay, so to appreciate what I just did, I'm running my fishy script from inside of a workspace container, running inside of a Docker container runtime that's running inside of a virtual machine that I connected to from the outside host machine using Minikube SSH, and then running it with Docker using Docker WS. Oh my God. There was a clone of Minikube for OpenShift. Interesting. So this looks like a normal fishies, right? You have to understand, this isn't the normal fishies. This is fishies running at like nested down like 10 levels. And it works. It just works. It makes me want to stick with home workspace containers. In fact, I want to try one other thing. While we're at it, I'm going to try one other thing. This is going to be so cool. All right, so I wanted to do this anyway. So Cube, since now I'm connected to the internet, I don't have my VPN in the way. I'm going to do kube exec. Okay, I'm going to do kube exec IT. Anyone's laughing. He's like, oh my God, this guy's getting it finally. K exec. You can run any image, right? I already did this with NetShoot. I showed you guys how to do this with NetShoot the other day. It's super cool. But now you can do it with your own workspace container. Yeah. And this actually, believe it or not, this shaving the yak is actually going to help me with my Jupyter Hub stuff, because I have to be able to create an entry point that's going to spawn a new ID that matches the ID of the users. But we have post start hooks to do that in the Helm chart. So that's another thing. You have to have been following my week during the week, my work during the week to understand it. So exec, and then I just need to say, is it a pod or deployment? It's a pod, right? Exec, I don't know how to do this. I'm trying to think of, I know about the image thing. So I have to do image, and I'm going to do RBX Rob / workspace, and then dash, and then it has to be entry. That's how you get into mine. No, that's how people get into it. But if I leave off entry and then if I make the command, no, that should actually work. Is it krun? But krun doesn't let you indicate what container. Yeah. Krun doesn't let you indicate the container, but I think you're right. Which sucks if you're using Istio. Istio sidecar stuff is killed for krun. I wrote a whole thing on it. I have to have a name. Krun will create a pod, right? I only want a pod. The exec. Yeah. Let's try it. I mean, it could do with their deployment as well, but If you don't see a prompt, try pressing enter. This takes a while. I'm doing an issue thing because it has to download the whole image. Yeah, it's a big one. It's like a 2 gig image. It's gonna take a little while. Well, once it has the, well, let me think. No, it has to pull it every time, right? Because the policy is pull every time. I'd have to make a deployment. Interactive shell and a non-existent pod container, right? Well, of course, yeah. So, yep. So I don't know how long it's gonna take, but oh, there we go. So user ID, 1000. Name you. Oh, the first one it chopped it. Interesting. This is good. I'm gonna have to make modifications to my thing. Holy shit! Do you realize what I just did? I just ran my workspace container, my desktop. I have my desktop right now running inside of my Kubernetes Minikube cluster. And this could have been anything. I could be doing this on a system that has 200,000. I could set up Node Affinity for that. Some do for K3. I know I almost do, don't I? Did you have one? Yeah. I cannot tell you how fucking cool that is to me. There's no words to express. I actually just totally figured out what I can do to get around the problems at work. Now, you have to have an internet connection for it, right? But if I have an internet connection, I can do exactly what I did from a container that's hosted on our internal private registry, and I can just run my workspace from any system anywhere. The problem is it doesn't have Docker, right? I wonder if it does. Oh my God, it does, because it mounted var Docker run, which is the one that's on the system by default, which is a huge security violation. but shit, it's actually going to work. Oh, it's not there. Fuck. You know why? Because it didn't get mounted. It didn't get mounted in. I don't think it got. No, it didn't. That makes me feel much better, actually. It did get mounted in. I'd have to force it to be mounted in my space. I'd have to set it as a config map or something. It doesn't make any sense, I know, but config maps can be used to mount files inside of containers. Yeah. I can't mount it from here though. Right? I'd have to mount it from when I run it. When I run it, I have to say I want to mount it in some way. And I don't know. I think it's a config map. You think you just have to say, yeah, but not files from node. Oh, right. This is actually some good security insight that I'm going through right now. Yeah. I have to be on the manifest. Yeah, it's not. Yeah. Interesting. I mean, this is no different than NetShoot. It's just my own personal version of it, right? So I can VI temp foo and get all my favorite stuff. This is all my favorite stuff slightly differently, because why? Because I'm using a completely different version of VI. This is a 100% copy of my workspace container. I'm so glad I made that workspace container. You have no idea how valuable that was to me in terms of learning. Eventually you'll be able to use cgroups v2, and these would work without the Docker socket, with permissions being preserved with the parent. That's amazing, Taniwa. So you're saying that I can make a workspace container and then do that, and then somehow give it permissions when I ran it to say to use the cgroup v2. That's going to be so amazing. I can't. That's going to just totally change everything. Everybody's wondering why I'm so excited. You're just looking at you at WS. Yeah, you have to understand how this is running and where it's coming from and where it got the code to run to really appreciate it. But not Docker AFI, Podman and others, really. Yeah, I mean, everybody keeps saying Podman's going to win, and I'm starting to agree based on the stuff I'm hearing. Session ended. Resume. Wait, I can K attach? I thought I did. I didn't do an RM. WS-C, WS-I. That's for the container, -IT. Oh, it reattached to make a new session. That's interesting. It didn't preserve the other account. Oh, it's because I made the entry point my entry. It must have saved the command. It did. Yeah, good watch. K get pods. Oh my God, this is so cool. K, I'm really geeking out here. Get pod ws dash o YAML. Nah, fuck it. K edit. I like edit because it gives me my synthesizer right away. Edit pod ws. So, and then I can search everything. I know it's bad practice to do this because you might accidentally save some change, but it's so much easier to navigate for me. So I'm always doing K-edit. I know. You can yell at me. I don't care. It's just easier to navigate because I automatically have all my VI search tools and everything. And if I happen to want to tweak something, I can in real time. Podman is on C Groups V2 is winning because it shares the same scheme as Kubernetes with pods. Yeah. Yeah, Podman's going to win. I don't like that it's winning. You know what? I'm okay with Podman winning because I'm now a Minikube fan. Because Docker, the only reason I was like married to Docker was because Podman didn't run on. See, okay. Oh, I got to write this down. I got to write this down. This is super important. Okay, so I'm actually going to make a video about this. So this is a serious change in my position, and I want to document it. So cast create start. Actually, Podman is better than Docker. Except in OpenShift. Yeah, I think might be. How about this? Might be better. I'm gonna justify that statement in a video. Right now. All right. So, because I need to capture this difference. All right. So here's the video. We're starting here. I got the people in Twitch, my group here. We're doing some Kubernetes Colearning, cloud native stuff. And there's been an ongoing debate since I've been starting to learn this like some 4 or 5 months ago about Podman versus Docker. And we're talking about the commands, right? And I have to give you a little background on why this has been a fight and what's going on. I'm not going to go too deep. I'm going to try to keep it shallow, keep it under 10 minutes. It's 12:58 there, so we'll look at that. So first of all, you can get Docker. We're talking just Docker without anything else. Any number of ways right now. I mean, the traditional way is to download Docker Desktop for Mac or Windows or for Linux to do your Docker install with a script or the package or whatever, and that they end up with Docker, right? And you can use Docker without any inference or use of Kubernetes at all, and you're good to go. And it's a pretty easy process to do an installation, even though I found out, a week ago, that Docker Desktop is proprietary software. And it's pretty, it's pretty flexible proprietary software. You don't have to pay unless you're an enterprise user, which I am. And so there's a lot of reasons, to consider that. And so I have to give you this little backstory in order to understand why my position on Podman has changed. When Podman first came out, I was kind of angry because Podman claims that it's safer than Docker and that it's daemon-less. In other words, it's not actually. It uses systemd instead of containerd. And Docker is independent, uses containerd. It doesn't have any integration with systemd, even though there's problems there because by using systemd, they can do things in some sense that are more controlled and everything. And then from what I understand, containerd, which is Docker, is now starting to do things that Podman has done. And the people say, hey, you can run rootless Docker, but you have to do this and this, and it has to get started up ultimately by systemd anyway. So there's this big technical battle, and everything I just said is probably going to make your eyes glaze over for a while unless you're a cloud native person. But it bothered me that, first of all, Podman's Red Hat, and I have kind of a bad taste in my mouth sometimes from Red Hat, although it's changing lately. I keep finding out really amazing things that Red Hat is doing on the Kubernetes front, on the cloud native front, despite their very definitive position on making cache. So, but let me continue. So I'm trying to decide how to get Docker the fastest. I was mostly in Docker worlds while I was trying to wrote my own first Docker files and stuff. And I was at the whole time I'm trying to consider, how do I help a beginner here? How do I help a beginner get going? And up to 2 weeks ago, my recommendation above every other, there's many ways, many paths to it, but my number one recommendation would be download Docker Desktop, get a Linux machine running in there, and start learning Linux. Boom, right? That's no longer my recommendation. My recommendation now is install VirtualBox, install Minikube, and then do Minikube SSH, and you get right onto the node right away. That's running all of these amazing things. And in fact, I'm running it over here. SSH, so MQ, MK, SSH will get you onto the node, your Runtime Minikube node that it has a Docker user. And you can do all kinds of things over there, right? It actually has Docker already installed. And this is going to bring me to the next point. The other thing, too, I noticed about this is that the default Minikube runs, this can be set, but it's using Podman. So there's some Podman stuff over here. You can use it if you want. When you use Minikube, I won't get into it, but when you use Minikube, you can define what container runtime to use. You can define what driver to use, and which includes, putting stuff inside of Docker if you already have a Docker installation already. But that defeats the purpose, because one of the advantages of Minikube is that you can install it and on anything, literally anything, and it will take care of all the container runtime installation for you, and it gives you any number of possibilities. You can specify that you want a Docker container D, Creo, whatever. And these things are not, Kind does sort of that, but this is like really good. But one of the pieces, let's bring it back home to the whole idea between Minikube versus Docker. Okay, so if one of the advantages of using one of my distastes about Podman was that it only runs on Linux. Okay, so let's start that. So a Podman only runs on Linux. Now, this might not be immediately obvious to an advanced user, cloud native person, but that's a pain in the butt to a beginner, because you can't say, first of all, Podman is Kubernetes specific, right? So people were telling me early on, they were like, well, you probably don't want to install Docker, you probably want Podman. Well, and they were selling me on Podman because Podman is 100% compatible with Docker, plus it's also Kubernetes aware, blah, 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 right? And so they were selling Podman to me as if, hey, you've just saved yourself all that problem getting ready for Kubernetes. Which ultimately is where you want to go. You don't want to just be container, Docker person. You want to be, you really do want to move on to putting a cluster someplace you can test and everything. And Podman makes a big deal about being 100% compatible, including they added Docker Compose recently, which I would never use, but they added that. But that entire point about, that used to be a bad point. So used to be downside. Yeah. So, for 2013, yes. So Podman, so to me, that used to be a downside. Why? Because, people, beginners had to have Linux. Beginners had to install Linux before using Podman. And up to, very recently, that was a big deal. Installing Linux is hard. Whether you want to put it on hardware, you want to run it on a virtual machine, you want to run it over WSL, you want to do as I said, up to recently, I was having people use Docker Desktop to get a terminal, right? But it's much better. So the main change here is that VirtualBox is Linux, and that's really succinctly saying it. So with VirtualBox is Linux, that means that you install VirtualBox for a million reasons that you need, besides the fact that you can run Minikube in it, right? And when you install VirtualBox, you already got Linux, right? So I'm going to put it this way. So Minikube, I'm going to put Minikube is superior to Docker Desktop. And in my opinion, this is my video, I'm going to tell you what I think. So I think Minikube is superior to Docker Desktop for beginners. And you're like, well, they're not the same thing. They're not. But they get you the same things in terms of learning. So VirtualBox is Linux, and one of required drivers for Minikube. All right, and one of drivers for Minikube. So you have to pick a driver for Minikube. I'm gonna tie this all together. I promise. Okay, so VirtualBox is Linux. So you can't have Minikube unless you have a driver. Okay, so let's put that down. Minikube requires a driver. And I'm not going to get into it, but one of those VirtualBox is one of the drivers for Minikube. I think it happens to be the best one. best in my humble opinion, for reasons that I'll get into in another video. So what this means is that VirtualBox, okay, so let's see. Minikube, how am I put this? Minikube plus VirtualBox equals fully functional Linux. Okay, and we're talking about this MKSSH. That's it, and you get it on the node automatically. All right, now we can make the conclusion, because guess what comes on it? Guess what comes on it? Podman. So when you're running Docker, I don't even think you're using actual Docker. I really want to find out, right? But at that point, it appears to me that Podman is already there, right? And Podman, so Podman is already aware of cgroups v2. And if you don't know what that is, you know, it's basically, it's more clued in. Podman is being more clued in. It's more current. Okay. So we're going to put Podman seems to be keeping itself more current, more relevant. And that means, you know, it's going to drop the dependency on the socket and a bunch of things. So the main, okay, so I'm going to put this, the above point, I'm going to say this removes primary disadvantage of Podman for beginners. Why? Because the number one blocker for a beginner is getting Linux. But if you install VirtualBox and Minikube, you bypass that all the way. So whether you're using the Docker command or using the Podman command, you don't care because you have Linux now. And on top of that, it seems to be that it comes with it. So Minikube installs Podman. I'm pretty sure. So, in fact, we're going to find out. Maybe not. Yep, there it is. All right. So, if Minikube installs Podman, I'm going to say with Docker support. So, it supports name support. So, you can use the Docker word if you're just typing D or whatever. So, because Minikube comes with Podman, in fact, this would be interesting. Let's see which Docker. It's bin Docker, right? ls-. I wonder if it's a link. I bet it's not. That would be really interesting to figure out which Docker. Okay, and then let's do that same thing for Podman and see if there's any similarity. We could probably do a file diff or something, but probably not the same file. I doubt it. Yeah, there are two different files. The point is that Minikube brings it to you already. Right? So if the rather shallow disagreement with using Podman is I can't install Podman unless I have Linux installed, well, Minikube plus VirtualBox gets around that right away. And then you're not using Docker Desktop because it's proprietary software now, and you don't want to support it because as cool as it might be, it's proprietary, and you can use Minikube, and it's not proprietary. It's actually a better environment, I think, and you get Docker installed for free. Not only that, you get Podman installed for free, you get Creo engine installed for free. You get a virtual machine that is stacked with all of the possible variations for doing this stuff. This is not just an argument for Podman, but it's an argument yet again for using Minikube as a beginner, because you get a more direct, full experience. And ultimately, I think Minikube is going to be the first one to deploy secret v2, and because they're doing it in a virtual machine, they can actually use that part of the kernel, things that kind can't do, and because it's there's no sense of a device in kind. It's all running inside of a container engine. So this has been a rather deep dive and kind of a complicated statement on my part about this, but I had to capture it because my aversion for Podman has completely vanished. I don't care. Why don't I care? Because whether Podman has been installed by the powers that be, and I'm on OpenShift, or in terms of like training and preparing to take care of this stuff, or develop for this stuff, or whether Docker has been installed, I don't care. Because why? Because the method that I'm using to prepare is Minikube plus VirtualBox, which comes with all of that by default, and it takes all that hassle away from me, and doesn't require any installation besides VirtualBox and Minikube. Boom. You don't have to do Docker Desktop, which I mistakenly thought early on. I thought I was also going to have to do Docker Desktop in order to even run Minikube. No. Because Minikube installs Docker, a Docker engine that you can even use from PowerShell or Z Shell or whatever you want to, because it's got, Minikube is aware of all those things and it packages it all for you really nicely, at the expense of 2 CPUs of being locked up for a virtual machine, which is some people would consider too bloated, and that's why they like Kind. A lot of advanced people don't even like giving that up because they're just doing pure applications development for Kubernetes, and they just want to keep it lightweight, and so they don't like that. But Minikube does that now too. So Minikube now uses the same method to run inside of a container engine that Kind uses. So to me, there's just really no doubt. So it's not just about Podman. It's like, Minikube for the win. Really, I'm solidly behind that conclusion now. I'm going to, it gives you everything. So I might be overstating it. I'm still a noob. There's probably a lot of people that have varying degrees of opinion on this. Please leave your comments. Try to be polite. I'm asking you to be respectful and polite as much as I fail at that. Please try to do that in the comments. But if you have, if I'm full of it, let me know. But just share it with me. I'm still relatively new to all this stuff, so hopefully this will help get you guys along your way. But so one of the side effects that I hadn't really become aware of, just to summarize, of my move to Minikube plus VirtualBox is I really don't care about Podman or Docker anymore because I got Linux, right? No matter what, I have Linux. I'm running on anything that runs Minikube, which includes Windows and Mac, can run Podman or Docker or anything. It doesn't matter, or any Linux at all. All right, I'm going to read a couple little comments right here if I have a little bit of time. Yeah, there's a bunch of contrarian stuff that doesn't really relate from the normal sources, which I won't name in this video. Yeah, WSL2 plus Docker. A lot of people want to do that. Yeah, a lot of people like WSL2 plus Docker, and that's fine. You can use that. I actually have Docker still installed because I use Docker for other things in it outside of my virtual environment. So I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying that the concern for whether to use Podman or Docker has been minimized by the approach of using Minikube plus VirtualBox, which hands down is the easiest thing for a beginner who has no skills in Linux at all. It's 2 installs and boom, you're on the shell and you can start learning everything. It's going to be the basis of the boost from going forward. Yep. Yeah. A lot of advanced people like to do the other way, and their justifications are always, their justifications are always uninformed with regard to a beginner, because they don't think about beginners. They keep thinking about other reasons that are not what you probably care about. You're probably a beginner trying to get started. So your takeaway from this is, if somebody gives you crap about the Docker versus Podman fighting, it doesn't matter. Like, what do you mean it doesn't matter? It doesn't matter. It's all Linux. Just put it on Linux. Just put a Minikube on and put it in VirtualBox. You're good to go. You don't have to enter into that fight and get really up in arms about it, other than the technology involved. So when I hear something like Podman is more aware of Cgroups v2 and is ahead of the curve in implementing the new standards for cloud native, normally that would trouble me, because I was like, oh, I really don't like Podman because of these other dumb reasons that are mostly related to being a beginner. They're no longer relevant because I'm going to have Linux every time. And so are you, because you're going to do Minikube plus VirtualBox. Bye. Yes. They can hear you, just so you know.
Bree's buying my painting.
Which one? That one?
The one I just...
She's like collecting them all.
No, that's Bree, not Lainey. Lainey
Oh, already?
Yeah, she's Bree. She's like...
They love your paintings, man. My wife's selling her paintings. It's awesome. All right. Docker Desktop is the issue. That's what I just said. How are you going to get Docker on Windows and Mac if you don't use Docker Desktop? And you're a beginner. Yeah, they are. No, you're just being difficult again, Vera, as usual. Podman and Docker are the same thing to a beginner. Yeah, they're completely different. I know, dude. I am speaking in terms of a beginner. When I do this, this means the Docker command and the Podman command, and they're technically not even the same thing. That's why I was looking for them to be the same thing. I know what Podman is. I know what it is. I'm speaking in terms of beginners. The beginners will understand. And this doesn't, I don't have to get into the minutiae of all of the differences technically underneath of the implementation, other than to understand the systemd thing, which I already did, and they probably glazed over on that. I mean, it's one thing to understand all the things. It's another to take it and simplify it in terms so a beginner can actually approach it. They're different. They're totally different. With Secret V2 right from the start, that I didn't know, so we should probably put that in there. Podman is already aware of Secret V2. Creo, yeah. Was it Creo or was it Podman? Is it because Podman uses the Creo engine by default? What engine is Podman built around? What container runtime is it? It's not a container runtime, I know, but which one is it built around? Yeah. Is tooling CRI? Yeah. Is CRI-O the engine? Yeah. Thank you very much. So yeah, but all of those distinctions are gonna like confuse people. I recently arrived here. I'm thinking maybe Vagrant plus VirtualBox. I tried Vagrant and I did not have a good experience with it. You might have a better experience, Hugo. Let me know. Let me know how it goes. I tried Vagrant for a while and it just wasn't happening. Mostly because, yeah. The reason I couldn't do Vagrant on the end of the day was I wasn't allowed to install it on my system at work. Vagrant wasn't. It might work for you. That's why I'm asking. I mean, a lot of the people. So anybody who's coming in this late, a lot of these conclusions I'm making are based on extremely strict limitations of the enterprise that I'm in right now, which doesn't let me do anything on my laptop officially. Pretty much, they barely give you admin access to it, and they won't let me install Vagrant. There's a ways around it, obviously, right? But so Vagrant was one of the ones I can't even install VirtualBox on there. So no, but I was able to install Minikube. No, I take that back. I was able to. I had to download the executable and run it that way, and I had to get around the security for that. So I have to go back and retrace my steps on that one. Yeah. Okay, I know. Creo versus Containerd. That is the actual fight, right? Because those are the runtime container engines. Yes. Got it. Instead of developing the spec for our share, they never implemented it. Yes, they never did. Vagrant works fine. No, it doesn't. Not without that. Okay. You always do that to me. My friend is doing the same thing. Vagrant works fine, except at our job. He always does that. He like gets to me going, oh, really? Really? Wait, tell me what. Except for here. It doesn't work here, of course. He does that all the time. I love you. He's like one of my favorite friends, but he does it to me all the time. And he gives me shit when I try to simplify for people. They're all run C at the bottom. Yeah, at the end of the day, they're all run C. Yeah, that's what's on it. This is great because I have two extremely knowledgeable, extremely pedantic, wonderful human beings like talking about the terminology and stuff in the Twitch chat. So if you're not in the Twitch chat right now, you might. I cannot put Twitch chat on the screen anymore. I refuse. It's been too abused. So I'm not gonna be ever doing that. I'll restate what people are doing though, so it can go in the video. I've been too burned by trolls last 3 days, so can't do that. There's lots of ways around that. I know there's like timeouts and wait 10 minutes and blah, blah, blah. I don't want to do any of it. I just don't want to risk it. It's Dota time. It is not Dota time. What time is it? It's 1:20. So I got to do more of this stuff. I'm going to send this video on its way. And, so actually, yes, let's commit that. And that should actually do my video. Yep. Okay. Changed over my video. Pending, Zet cast pending paths. Yeah, we have 2 paths there. I wonder what the other one's about. I don't remember. Just give me a second here. I don't remember what this one is. I gotta go look. Oh, that's the Podman one. Oh, duh. Of course it is. It's the last one. Stupid idiot. I'm talking to me. I'm talking to myself. I'm calling myself an idiot. That's occasionally okay. Oh, it's already been synced. So that one should have been. I mean, it's not going to hurt anything, but that one's already been synced, and I didn't archive. I keep forgetting to archive them. The problem. All right. So Zet edit last. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and upload that. And I'm going to say Kubernetes, Podman, Docker, Cloud, Minikube. Should I do TIL? Learning. I should do beginners. Should I do noobs or beginners? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Sort of for beginners. Sort of. I'm going to go ahead and upload this video since I just made it. I'm not going to wait this time. I normally will wait. Since we're doing this stuff, you guys, you're talking, got a good conversation going on. Get them on Puppet and Chef. Glad I left. Yeah. The Vagrant binary. I ended up doing that with VirtualBox. I had to do that to get it. Yeah. Yeah, it's wearing on me. It's wearing on me, but I'm okay. I'm having a good time at my job right now still. So, yeah. How do I, this Sensible versus Chef? We need to have that conversation too. I want to have that conversation as well. We're on for 2 on Monday, right? Right, Vera? Can we do that? You can hit me with all of your corrections, everything I've done wrong. You can give it all to me. Say, no, you're wrong on that and this. And I'll listen. And I'll be like, okay. You got to have a thick skin to work with great technologists. You just do. You just do. You have to have a thick skin. Yes, sensei. Whatever you say. Sometimes you kind of have to do that. Not always, but sometimes being the new guy on the block asking the question is a good thing, because you're thinking of things they may not have thought about because they've been around too long. But most of the time, you need to hear them out before you go going against them. And I've been on the other side of this a lot, right? I've been the mentor who's helping the young people that are learning things. I'm like, no, don't do that. Said that, should I just say no? No, don't do that, because you have to learn extended regular expressions. You can't use the power of pro regular expressions with -i. So use Perl-I. I'm like, what? Just trust me on that one. You're like, no, don't trust me, because you should never say that. You should always say, go figure it out, but this is why, and then we'll talk about it later. Wax on, wax off. You're just making me do all your cleaning and everything. No, I'm not. Show. I need to make that a clip. I need to make the wax on, wax off a clip. I need to make that a clip. That's one of my favorite clips of all time. Like, Daniel doesn't know what's going on. You know what I'm talking about? Daniel doesn't know what's going on. He thinks he's being abused by this mean Asian, making him do all his work. And he goes, you're just telling me to do this. He goes, it's your job. Show me, wax on. Show me sand floor. Hot. And he's like, oh, and he figures it all out. I love that. That's my favorite scene, because it's like the rebellious young Anakin / Daniel giving his sensei shit, and he actually sees his sensei is not full of it. He's actually telling him that for a reason. That's one of my favorite scenes of all time, in all of cinema. So yeah. I'm gonna cancel that right there. Just me that script. Let me use kubectl to build a container just like you can with Docker. Yep. Did you do it, Vera? That's the same script you were talking about before, right? I'm going to start needing that, because I have a Docker container that I need to build, and I need to build it inside our infrastructure. I'm having the same issue as you, because I don't want to deal with VPN transfer speeds. I have to rebuild some Jupyter Hub images. A container from the host via pipe. Yes. Never thought of doing that before. Yes. Streaming. Yeah. Streaming a tarball. Yeah. Yes. It's super cool. So maybe people want to know about this, so I can talk about this. This is a dilemma that we have at work that someone else might have. I have that script. I just have to go look at it. I don't know which one it is. The one that we gave me. I can go find it, but I'll find it. So it's possible. So I'm not giving any like corporate secrets away to describe the dilemma that exists in our work environment. If you haven't figured it out yet, Vera from Twitch and I work. He helped me get this job actually. And one of the so let me explain the dilemma for a beginner. The dilemma is this: you come into an environment and they don't want to give you Docker access on any kind of system that matters because it's dangerous. And that statement alone is changing. All this stuff that we've been talking about with Podman. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it a lot. He's just giving me the script again. So Vera here has actually written a script that will build a Docker image from inside of a Kubernetes cluster and give you the result. It'll give you the image that results, and I think you just have to specify where to make it go build. Yeah, it's got work domains in it. I would never make it public anyway. The approach, the more important thing is the approach, and the approach is not proprietary. The approach is this. So right now, I'm going to give you the scenario. So the scenario is you're a beginner like me, and you just want to build a Docker image. And in my case, my job requirement right now is to build some customized Jupyter Hub images that have some extra pieces in them that can't be covered with some of the Helm hooks and stuff. And we actually concluded, I was going to report this to Vera as well. Docker save style, kube style image streaming. Yes. So I need images, and you regularly need to use images. So in order to do that, the only way for you to make an image and start using it in your environment, even if it's a private internal environment, is to start building images, right? So you write your Docker files, you extend whatever existing one, make sure you get approved from legal or whatever. And then you add your things, and you end up with this image that you can tag and then push to your internal registry. If you're doing that over a VPN like we are doing, it would take you 5 hours for some of those images. And we're talking about 2 gigabyte, images. We're not talking about anything huge. Anything bigger than that, you get throttled because the VPN doesn't want to do it. So what do? You scream and pull your hair out because you don't have access to Docker on any systems internally until you discover something like what Billy has done that says you can actually run Docker inside of a pod without mounting the socket to the node, right? Please tell me you're not mounting the socket to the node. I really want to know that. That would mean, okay, so you need to know this about Kubernetes. Every node, every machine comes with a container runtime engine. You're using it every day in your CI. There you go, Black Mouse. So the reason for this is many, right? So first of all, you're building your Docker images safely because you're doing it inside of your VPN. Now you're probably doing it inside of your VPN on your own laptop if you have Docker installed on your laptop, and now that you can't use Docker Desktop, there's yet another reason to do this, right? Because you got to drop Docker Desktop if you want to be enterprise compliant, because you're not going to pay your money or pay whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it's still inefficient. So you should be leveraging all the horsepower of this big monstrous cluster you have to build these images in your demo. I mean, we have like 100 CPU, systems in our, so there's a lot of power there that just goes unused in your cluster. So why are you not building your desktop images inside of your cluster? You should be leveraging your cluster to build these images, and that's what Vera's been talking about. There's no socket mounting. Yeah, it doesn't need it. Right, not for Docker builds. But the other reason to build your images inside of your VPN, so you might, if you're a beginner like me, you might be tempted to disconnect from the VPN, build all of your containers, right? Get them all the way you want them, make sure they're approved, and then reconnect to the VPN and push all that stuff up straight to your private registry. Doing so, I mean, even if you get legal approval for pushing that image and your changes to it, you're already going to hit the VPN throttling going on, and it's inefficient, right? Because you're doing it like that. You're not leveraging the big massive connection to, Class A network that your company has, and you're throwing away. And this is something the guy who hired me actually kept telling me, and he kept trying to pound into my head for the first 2 months. It's like, you don't need any of that. You should just be doing all of that in the dev cluster. You can do that. You have the. I was like, well, I want to do it locally. It's still a valid concern, by the way. There's some applications development you see me doing during the week where I'm iterating on small changes to the thing, that doing that over the network on a VPN would be absolute hell. So I don't do that. I do that iteration, that live real-time development on my local laptop. But when it comes to pulling images and stuff, that should be done inside of your cluster and doing all your builds that way. And that, I'm going to say it, that's not immediately obvious to a beginner, because it takes a real serious mindset change to think, I can do all of these activities from inside the cluster. By the way, if you don't know the terminal, fuck it, you're done. If there has been nothing else you take away from this conversation, you need to become wicked good at the terminal and scripting, bash scripting, Docker files, stuff like that. Because nothing I've told you about at all can be done without a terminal. And I still, still people that want to get into this kind of thing and they're like, oh, why do I need a terminal? I'm like, You disagree with me not about having a terminal? Oh, the 500 thing? So we have a nice VPN upload network is capped at 500 kbps. Yes. You disagree with me on what? On the terminal thing? You built it off GitHub kubectl build. Nice. You have I like local dev and CI/CD to publish. That's what I said. I do local development. Yes, and then this is exactly what I did. I think we agree on that one. Would you be able to clean the script up? Yes. I'd be interested in seeing it. Yeah. Is there a socket? Yeah. You don't need a terminal. You just need a friend with a terminal. That's fair. I suppose that's fair. I mean, I'm not going to argue with that. You smart people who just want to argue. The bad thing about being me is I attract people like me. and then you have to deal with them. You're like, oh, fuck. They're being pedantic assholes over this little point right here. Like, yeah, just like you every day. You're saying I disagree with me. Who told you to just always use the dev cluster? You're saying you disagreed with the person who's now gone. Who's went on to better things. This is not a Z-Shell theme. How dare you suggest such a thing? Go away. Trox, I love you. I'm having fun with you. Somebody comes in. What Z-Shell theme is this? Oh my God. Thank you for making me laugh. I appreciate that. That was really nice. This is just Bash, my friend. This is Bash and Tmux. Yeah. Bash supremacy. Hey, Robbie. Hey, Drox, you didn't know. We're just having fun. We're having fun. It's a joke. Don't be pissed. This is what we do in here. They're giving me shit. The last 20 minutes, they're giving me shit. So that's what we do, unfortunately. I don't know why. It's just what we do. Bashinga. Oh, God. This has been just like every other college lab session I've ever had. It's like degenerated into random like bro insults with each other. I'm sure not everybody's a bro here. I don't mean to offend you. It's seashell. Oh, somebody was okay. Oh, I just don't want to work now. I just want to have fun. Echo PS1. Echo PS1 right now. I dare you. Do you want to see the whole PS1? Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. You want to see my actual thing that matters? It's called dot. I got my dot files in there, my bash RC and everything. Yeah. Yeah. I have some scripts and stuff. I use a function because I've been asked this many times by really, really astute people. They ask me all the time, why are you doing that all from a function inside your bash RC? Why don't you do this stuff as a script? And there's only one answer to that, because I want it all on bash RC. So that when I go on another system, I SCP bash RC and tmux config and vimrc, and I'm done. My whole system is set up. I have a remote system that has all the things that I need. I only need to copy 3 files. Boom. You only have 15 minutes to prepare for the certification exam, by the way, and I'm going to take advantage of every second of that time to put on that machine the tools that I use. And it's still unknown whether you can actually install software. I don't know if you can. I don't know. Tanya might know. I don't believe you can actually install software. So we know tmux is on the system. So back to the whole Kubernetes certification thing, right? Well, this study session is for my co-learning to prepare for Kubernetes application developer, or Kubernetes administrator, and Kubernetes security specialist. Those are the 3 I'm going for by next year. And so, that's what led to this Minikube ranting and stuff, because we've been preparing for all that. In the exam, you absolutely cannot. You cannot use Z-Shell. You cannot use init.lua. You know who you are. Yeah, you're taking the case. Are you really? Are you taking it in 10 minutes? Kung Fu, will you please report back without as much as you can without lying? We need some input from people who are actually taking the test, who can tell us specific things. So we know for a fact, apparently you can go on killer.sh and you can get an environment. We don't know for sure that the killer.sh environment, you can get 2. If you sign up for the test, for each test you sign up, you get 2 killer.sh whatevers. There are these things, remote web-based thing you can log into that was added after people complained. It's kind of drama there, because people didn't know what they were going to be thrown into to take the certification exam. They had no sense of what the lab was going to be like. So they're now giving these 2, Tanya, correct me if I'm wrong, you're the one who would know. But they now give 2 access to the killer.sh. What we don't know is whether the killer.sh is actually the same environment, like literally the same environment that's provided for the test. As in, we know it has tmux, we know it has vi, it has vi and nano and tmux, and that's it. And yeah, you get 2 sessions, right? So I've heard we have 15 minutes to prepare. I've read through the whole preparation guide. I've forgotten a lot of it. I probably need to go back and read it again. But to those of you who are interested in taking the test, there's a whole guide about taking any Linux Foundation thing, and CNCF is under Linux Foundation. Somebody the other day was asking me whether they thought LPIC certifications were more valuable than LFC Linux Foundation, and we got reason we're looking at it a little bit, and somebody suggested very simply the new Linux Foundation stuff is all lab based, and the LPIC stuff is still multiple choice. And I'm going to tell you that makes it an easy decision for me right away. So if you're looking to certify in Linux, I'm not going to get into whether you should or not. That's your own thing. I actually made a huge video on that. Certify. There's a video on that. You can go watch. I made a graphic for it. You can make your own decision about whether I'm certifying because I want to help others and cover the gaps and put that on. I'm a consultant, so. And I'm coming from infrastructure, so there's lots of reasons that I want an extra, papery bullet points that don't really matter, but they matter to the HR and to the people like them. It doesn't hurt. Tanya and I were talking about that the other day. There's some people in the past who've stated, the hiring manager for Google, who's no longer there, who's Gail, who wrote the book about cracking the coding interview, said that putting a software engineer certification such as Java would be against you, because it means you believe in certifications for software, when in fact you should just be making a bunch of software that proves you're good. And I happen to agree with that, but I not to the point where that certification would count against you. It's just there. The statement that certifying proves that you're serious about what you're doing, I also don't buy that, but some people believe that. So it's one of those reasons. Those are the reasons to consider getting certified. But let's go back to actual stuff. So where's my log? I've been having so much fun with this Minikube session. I just can't tell you. I really have. But many do. Yeah. Many do view. I mean, and we're not attacking her, right? We're just saying, I just thought it was interesting that you felt that it's not going to hurt, and I mean, full disclosure, Tanya does have some connection to the exams. He's not being, remunerated for anything. He's not getting money for it, but he is sort of connected to that stuff. I don't think that's doxing anything. but important that people know. Opinions on Wayland. I'm not using it. I actually, I don't think I have a choice. I think I'm being forced to use it now. Yes, I think it's a good idea to have a new code base. Do I think it's a good idea to support the old code base? Also, yes. Other than that, I'm not going to yell and scream. I just, as long as it works, I don't care. Honestly, I don't give a shit about graphics until they don't work. And then I have problems. Like yesterday, I got trolled because somebody was sending me messages during my Dota game and it was causing it to minimize. And so it was stopping my game from showing. And it turns out he was trolling me the whole time. Gatekeeping is hard to get past, and many gatekeep off of weird things like you have a cert reject. I agree. I agree that that's too often the truth. And I think that's more true than this person has a cert. We're never hiring them. What's more likely? What's more likely? Oh my God, this person actually thinks certs matter, but look at all this other awesome stuff. Yeah, good job. And then you have the other random person who says, wow, they have certs. Let's hire them. The person who says that is usually not the one doing the interview, by the way. It's usually the person who's trying to decide whether your piece of paper gets in this pile or this pile. That's the person who's making that decision, and they don't have the same level of technical expertise as the SME they're going to bring in to vet you on the third interview. So just let you know, that's how it goes down. At least from where I'm sitting, that's how it's gone down. Yeah. If you have a cert, then they should probably place you into a junior position to get experience. And I think that's fine too. I think getting a cert is particularly important for people who are changing careers. There's somebody who was doing package delivery, and they're like, should I get a boot camp? Should I go to a boot camp or get a certificate? I'm like, get the certificate. Do all the experience and get as many certs as you can. And I've heard like senior executives at IBM say the same thing. They don't hire based on college. They hire based on experience. But the people that they used as their anecdotal stories and stuff, they all had certs, and it was particularly the specific example was a security person. So, in security and electronics and engineering, getting a cert is a no-brainer, and I would say that's true even for cloud native. It's closer to a no-brainer than getting certified in React or something. Take care, dude. Dude, we are pulling for you. The thing that's really embarrassing about me is when I take the test, everybody's going to know if I fail. Because they're going to know, did you pass? I'm like, no. Fuck. I got to get ready. But then you'll all learn from it if I fail, right? So I hate tests. Can I just say, I fucking hate tests. Tests make me tense up, and I always do poorly. I always have more capacity than what I'm able to demonstrate on a test every time. I have locked up on tests since the beginning of my life, and I hate them. I hate them. I don't want you to look at my test as my skills, but mostly because I overthink them, particularly multiple choice. I can make every one of those four answers correct in my brain. I can cast a scenario in my brain. I can role play it out and make every fucking answer true, and I do. And then I spend too much time analyzing the fucking question instead of just answering it, and then I get it wrong. And then I think I'm a bad person, and then I take another test and I fail more, because that's what happens when you drop your glasses and stub your toe and then lose your keys and everything, because that's psychologically it's a neurological thing that happens when you start to fail. You just continue to fail more. That's why you should put the game down and stop raging for a bit, because if you don't, you're just going to make it worse. That's how you get an MMR of 0 in Dota. Like me. So, I was once told, we think your 10 years of experience is great, but you don't have a bachelor's, so I don't think you'll have the skills needed for the job. And this is the proper response. That's the proper response. Seriously. I mean, if somebody is that fucking stupid, you dodged a bullet, my friend. You dodged a bullet. You totally dodged a bullet on that. Yeah, there are a lot of companies that have HR third party. Yes, they do. Yeah. And asking you not your overall experience. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, there are people that use third party, and that's why sometimes you need certs and degrees. I know for a fact Bosch, a really big worldwide employer, does most of the electronics in cars these days, by the way. The real serious stuff. They require a degree. And of course, they're based in Germany, where a degree is free. Don't get me started. I want to stay on topic. We got another 90 minutes or so. Half of my work experience is in one sentence. Exactly. 10 years, but still, yeah, yeah. If I hear test review should be something more quantifiable, like achieving a goal. I agree, and that's why the certification scares the shit out of me. OSCP did too, because I mean I've proven over and over again I'm capable of doing it. I'm making incredible money as an infrastructure engineer, and I'm completely 1,000% self-taught, as in I sought out resources and mentors and people to teach me. I got a fucking Russian degree, and I did it. I know you can learn. I know I can prove it too, but the problem is the system doesn't always see it that way. But if you find companies, yeah, and not just you, all the people. So Greg, God, I wish he could write up his story. Greg is one of the most amazing engineers. Very absolutely is one of the best I've ever encountered. And you bump into these people, and they getting shot at. Your degree was getting shot at. I'm so sorry. That's sad. It's funny because it's sad. Oh God. He'll get a big head. Who? The other guy? No, I tell people that. I tell people what I think of them, whether they think they're an asshole or I think you just said something. I'm. If I don't like you, I look. Yeah. If you're gonna get a big head because I tell you what's true about you, that's your problem, not mine. I have made several Anakins. I won't lie. Young people who I told had skills. And like, yeah, I'm awesome. And then they just kept going with it. And then pretty soon their head was so fucking big they couldn't walk through the door. And then I had to kill them. Not kill them. Cut their legs off. I had to push him out of the door. I was like, get the fuck out. I didn't kill him, obviously. Or did I? No, I didn't. But they were so huge in their egos because they saw how good they were done bad without legs. They were so totally, and they were brilliant. They were brilliant. It's a very dangerous thing. Sounds like I shouldn't be allowed to mention. There are several people on Twitch who agree with that statement and have made videos to that effect. We're not going to talk about them though, because talking about streamer drama is banned from my stream. You even mention it in jest, I will ban you. I don't give a shit who you are, including you. I'm just telling you right now, and that's my one warning for that. Any discussion in jest or otherwise of streamer drama, even the slightest reference to it on my stream in a chat will get you insta-banned. I'm just telling you, because I am done. I want to keep laughing. Throw a coin to your Twitter. Yeah. The system codex says, this is some good conversation, so I'm having fun reading it. I can't see what you were just looking at. I kind of understand as well. The place I work today, they gave me a chance to put me in a junior developer position. I can tell I code more than everybody else. I'm already discussing analysis of tasks because the senior analysts are shitty. Dude. I don't watch streams other than yours for the most part. I know, Bear. Thank you very much. Thank God. Throw a coin to your Witcher. Oh, Valley of Plenty. Yeah. Oh, Valley of Plenty. Why would you do that to me? Now I have to go play it all again. Why doesn't it work on Linux? As I've said, there is no chance of Kubernetes today. Fire up Dota. Black House. No, I want to go back to the Minikube stuff. What are we learning? Jalopy says. I don't know. I just found that I'm working out. The department has a dedicated architecture team. Dedicated architecture team. Why doesn't it work on my machine? What? Which one works on my machine? Dota and Minikube. I'm in. All right. Actually, it's probably doable. According to Jess Frazzle, it's totally doable. She played games from Steam by mounting the X11 socket, which is another reason not to use Wayland. Does Wayland have an X11 socket? I'm gonna go search that right now. It's not Kubernetes. Does Wayland have a socket like X11? If it does, then we can use Wayland in containers, including Kubernetes. Is architecture, yeah. It does not work with. Did you do with Wine, Fidesco? 10 mods. Fidesco, tell me about that. Tell me about your Witcher on Did you run it under wine? Wine and Letras? You got it to work? Oh man, I'm gonna have to do that. I mean, I would much rather play wine and play Witcher during my time and just shoot the breeze than that, because it's so much easier to just shoot the breeze in Witcher. You know what I mean? Than playing Dota 2. Dota 2 I have to focus. But I can't play with other people, right? Yesterday we had I think Berlin's come in, and I played with a few people. Actually, Strager yesterday. Strager played his first game of Dota yesterday with me on stream. It was great. It was really great. Yeah, he played Tidehunter. It was really fun. All right, so I want to see answer this question. Wayland socket. Okay, apparently Wayland does have a socket. Also, Stream has a good compatibility layer now. Are you talking about Steam? With GOG version. I couldn't. Did you run it under GOG? Did you use the GOG client? I couldn't. I have the GOG version too, and I couldn't get GOG to run on Linux because it doesn't support it. I actually have 2 full copies of Witcher 3. I'm so ashamed. I was too lazy, and it was really cheap. So I bought a Steam one and I bought a GOG one. Steam phone messed it up. Oh damn. You haven't finished Witcher yet? You're on Skellige? Oh, Skellige is fun. To tell you the truth, I kind of sped through Skellige to get to the end. I want to spend a long time in Skellige. It's next time. Yeah, next time I play. I haven't done any of the Blood and Wine mod and plugin. This is not. We're totally off topic, but well, it's gonna be safe for time and eternity and posterity. This is our. Look, this is a Colearning. This is exactly what you would expect from a study session in college on a Sunday afternoon. This is exactly what you'd get. You get, a certain amount of focus, and then no. Where's the pizza? And beer. God, that sounds really good right now. Skellige is amazing. This is amazing, amazing, amazing. In fact, thinking about it gives me goosebumps. I want to get back in there. I might do it. You got GOG Galaxy? Doesn't work for you? Oh, shit. You installed it on Windows, and you just copied it to Linux. Really? Fidesco, I really want to stay in touch with you on that, because I am very seriously trying to get Witcher 3 and Overwatch. I like Overwatch. I don't care. You can judge me. I actually like it. I like it because I like the art. I like the art of it. And I love the backgrounds. They're just so well done. I like TF2 as well. I like this. Anyway, I've been allowing myself to do gaming a little bit more, and being on stream has made it even more fun, because I've been able to do it with people that are hanging in the stream with us, who are not trolls, by the way, thank God. And yes, it can. I've played it. I've seen it. I've had somebody set it up for me. The anti-cheat? Trolls and Twitch? What? So Kubernetes is what again? By the way, AC Valhalla, they got a linguist and helped me with it. I like such. Oh my God, Taniwa. Oh, I can't. Okay, Sundays. I'm getting this Sundays, and that's not the band. There's actually a really good band called the Sundays. You want to hear? I'm so random today. I'm really random. The Sundays is right. I got a batch of the Sundays going on, so I'm gonna play the Sundays. You ask me why, I'll tell you then it's another one of these whiny bands. I'm gonna get so banned on YouTube. I gotta watch YouTube like a hawk here right now. It's almost like they ripped off Edie Brickell straight up. I like it when they have. I like the stuff with like the female voice is kind of ethereal on the top of it all. There's another hard rock band that did that too at the same time. Was it? Oh, you know what's happening? I got randomization going on. No, I need to play the popular ones. You'll know. Here's where. This is just happy music. Happy music. All right. This is a college. This right here is college practice. You got the Sundays. This is the 90s. You got the Sundays on in the background. You're like writing poetry to your girlfriend instead of like doing your Russian homework. You're like, here's where. Team X nesting. I have Team X nesting. Yeah, you just do Team X in. Watch. It's not bad. That's it. Coffee shop music. Absolutely. This is 90s coffee shop music all the way. You're in the coffee shop because the library's closed because it's Sunday. You got your buddies. Or you do what we did. You go to the closest, because you have to walk or ride the scooter. You go to the closest all-you-can-eat buffet, and you don't check out for 4 hours. This is what we would do. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. We would get the all-you-can-eat buffet. We would go there, and they would know we were coming. It was my posse and I. We'd be studying, right? We would literally make fortresses out of the plates on our tables. we like be studying sort of, and we like stack plate upon plate upon plate. We did because they didn't want to take them. They were going to be there all day. We would just eat. We get the all-you-can-eat buffet for like $10, which is like half a month's salary. You know what I'm talking about. If you've lived through college, this is the thing about college. I'm like all anti-college these days. It sounds like, but I'm really not. The college experience is amazing. I want to believe that you can produce a college experience a lot of places. In my particular case, I was super duper fortunate because my high school posse group, whatever, all ended up in the same dorm together our first 2 years of college. And we kind of wandered away and got married and did things. And, but we kind of stayed in contact. And that's very unusual. But I wouldn't trade it for anything. It was phenomenal. I mean, it cost me lots and lots of money because, I did the math. I paid like $2,000 or $3,000 in my summer gym class to tell me to go outside and run for 15 minutes a day and report on it. That was the exact cost in credit hours for that class. And I started doing the math because they filled a fucking auditorium for the one meeting we had. We had one meeting where we had to all be in the place all at the same time. No, that's not true. It was like every 2 weeks or something. Right, so I think it might have been... No, it was every week, so it was at least a 1 credit hour class. And we would go in there, and we would be like... And then I was at... This is the one where I sat next to the guy who was the same name as me, who signed this roll and everything. I was counting the roll. There was hundreds of people in that auditorium. Hundreds of people in that auditorium paying at least $2,000, $3,000 for this 1 or 2 credit hour summer course to stay healthy that ran for like 3 months. Do the math. Did they deserve all that money by getting us to do this, or they're going to give us an F if we didn't take this mandatory class in physical fitness? You could get it waived if you really push hard. I was literally being paid to run every day and write it down and report it in, and to come to the things. And there was no tests or anything. It was just most of that. And then they would show us stuff on the screen about health and stuff. So we'd go, and if we wanted to, we did. I could learn more off the internet in like 10 minutes than I could in that entire fucking course. There was no internet back then, but you could have. And they got that money, and nobody even balked an eye at it. They heard one instructor for that, probably a bunch of TAs who were like, underpaid or free. And they're the ones who did any of the papers or anything that was written. I think we did have one writing assignment, if I remember right. And look and check up on all the stuff, and we got our grade. It was it. It's a fucking scam. It's a scam. I mean, it's a scam with all caps. S-K, C or K. That's what happens when you yell about college. You can't spell anymore. The college gods, they withdraw their support from you. They're like, no, you're not gonna be able to talk now. Skama, that Russian skama, может быть. I mean, I love learning Russian and everything, but it wasn't worth whatever I paid $180,000. I mean, seriously. I mean, come on. If you could take $180,000 and you could live in Russia for 4 days. I guarantee you could learn Russian better than that. You go there and talk to But would I have been able to like go to all you can do buffets and have the Sundays, Sundays open and have these big study groups on with my friends, my other friend, and pre-med and just hang out with these people? No, but give me a fraction of that money and I'll hang out with those buddies anyway, and we'll organize our own learning. I really wish the world would wake up to that. I just don't know how this is going to happen. So I don't know. I don't know if it's ever going to happen. Might not. But this is how I do the TMUX thing. It's not magic. TMUX has a safety mechanism. If the TMUX environment variable is unset, then you can actually run another TMUX. It's basically you need to know what you're doing, right? And you have to be able to pass a configuration file. It's going to set your leader key or whatever, mine's control A, as not the default. So I actually have two TMUXs. I have one that's here, and then I have thank you for saying so. See, you guys are down there. I'm like showing you in my chat. I'm already a little nervous. I'm already a little nervous showing your guys' chat on the screen but the people on YouTube are like, who was he even talking about? I don't know. I got really burned by having chat. Yeah. So it is a distortion. It's too bad. I mean, it's getting worse too, because there's nothing there to check the academics. There's nothing. They got 100% monopoly on it, because corporations still keep giving them the money. They're like, we're not going to hire anybody who doesn't have a college degree. And now a lot of the tech world is like, no, fuck that. You don't need a degree. You just need to prove you can do it. So they're striking back. That's our one hope, is that corporate America will eventually wake up and beat the college scene into submission. I doubt it, though. I doubt it. There's just a bunch of power plays going on, and we're just in the middle. And then, the government's not getting checked. Yeah, the government versus the corporations work at academia. Those are the major power players, versus religion. I mean, we're not going to talk about that, right? Religion is factioned. There's lots of factions of religion, but that's where all the power is in most any country, right? And they're always checking each other and, coming out with affidavits that say you don't need to go to college, like that kind of thing. Open source helps the engine, but it's much larger. Yeah, it really is. And part of it's not being defeatist to say so. I think it's fine to just say, you got to play in the system in order to reform the system. Elliot kind of learns that in his big dream that he had in Mr. Robot. Been working IT for 10 years, no college, had a social experience of it. You did have the social, but I was lucky to never have an issue with that experience. Always trumps college. Yes, it does. It always will too. Most people agree. It's like internally kind of a thing. Accenture has 600,000 employees. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I work for a company that's got, I think, more than that. I can't say who. Don't dox me. Don't dox me. No, I worked for IBM, and they've got, how many they got? I don't even know. It depends. I got music on again. I promised I wasn't going to do that. I wanted you to know the Sundays. So they're almost done. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to write this off. It's 2 o'clock. You know what? I'll come back later tonight and we'll do some more stuff. I feel like my studying, I feel like I made a lot of discoveries. That's kind of what led to this. I got really, really excited by the discovery about Podman. And that means I can actually get behind Podman or Docker. I don't have to have a dogmatic affiliation with either of them. And anytime that's possible, I actually prefer it. I know that doesn't make sense when you hear what I talk about, how use only this, right? But it's true. Whenever I get really dogmatic about something, there's a reason, and it's for a specific purpose. Oh God, this song. I haven't heard this song in a long time. I'm so glad I had that random reminiscence. I'm not doing Dota. I'm gonna go run. I'm gonna go run in the middle of the afternoon and get sunburned. What are we learning, Jalopy? We're learning about the Sundays and how to get A's without studying. You know you've done it. You waited till last minute before the test, and let's all have a moment of silence for our new friend. He's not dead. Don't worry. Let's all have a moment of silence for for, I'm trying to find now. He's gone. He's like moved on. One of our community members, Kung Fumi. Seriously, let's have a moment of silence and support and thoughts and prayers for Kung Fumi, who is at this very moment taking the Kubernetes certification exam, the CKA. He had to leave our stream to go do it. It was like he had to go to the testing center and we're all still at the cafeteria. Okay, man, we'll see you. He had to go off and take it. I'm wishing him luck. I'm like, come back and tell us what's up, but don't give us the answers. I know, dude. I'm actually nervous for him or her. I don't know. I assume Kung Fumi is. He's not dead, as far as we know. He just left. He's like, I'm gonna go take the test. It's that feeling. Like I'm gonna go to the testing center now. Are you still in the hotel? Oh my god. Oh my god. I thought you made it out. Finally. Billy Vera, my good friend, is in the middle of a transition, which he has talked about somewhat publicly. And suffice it to say, a big piece of that has been living in a hotel, living and working from a hotel with really shoddy internet, and saying, "I'm sorry, here, let me try this other thing with my sound again. I empathize with you every time you have to connect from that hotel. I feel so bad. Yeah. I mean, think of a remote, right? Yeah. Usually tests at home. View Pearson has online testing now. Yes, they absolutely do. Anybody here got the A+? The A+ is another one that I want to help people get and may get myself just to know all the shit in it. So yeah. You did? You couldn't get the internet needed even though they said they could? Oh, really? Dude, your job depends on it. You know, that always bothers me when like real estate people will tell you that. Godspeed, not me. But yeah, Godspeed to him. Yeah, thanks for the support, YouTubers. Again, I don't have your chat bridged here, and I'm kind of scared of showing chat at all on the screen. It's nothing personal. It's nothing personal unless you're a troll, and then it's very personal. Did you get your A+? You did? When did you get it? When you're like 10? I was gonna say. Yeah, that's about right. That sounds about right. Yeah, I've been talking to people about A+ for beginners to break in. Like, okay, so you go from no college degree, love to play games, can mod the shit out of a computer and or a game, to job at Best Buy or some kind of desktop support. The thing that's going to get you there is an A+ cert. I don't like that that's true, but that's one of the ones. Permanent A+. Yeah. Issue with the internet cabling. Really? Oh. You were chat when you wanted to name Keg. Yeah. And it was first, it was Knut. You remember that? Actually, no, we had what do we have? The Federated Universal Knowledge Net? Oblivion, were you there for that? The Federated Universal Knowledge Net? I legitimately thought of that name before I figured out what the acronym was. Yeah, it just went crazy. Oh my god. I wish I had that clipped. That was some real fun stuff there. We're speaking of clips. I gotta delete my clips because somebody fucking around with my clips. I gotta go do that right now. I forgot all about that. You two can see my chat, but I can't see theirs. That is true. Yeah. The YouTube can see it. This is a little bit. This is why I've been covering up chat, because I don't know what you guys are saying. If you don't want any chat to be seen, you can just put exclamation point in front of it, okay? But if you're chatting at all, you should generally be okay with it being public on accident or on purpose. Let's see. Alex Rob, Chris Nova show. Let's see here. Wow. Oh, the person got removed. Nice. Yep. That's nice to know. Clips of my channel. Streamer is racist. Yeah. That was the Dodo one. Delete selected. How about this one and that one? Yeah, this is Dota when they got me to use the N-word. I don't want to talk about it. I don't. I'm in a good mood. I got the Sundays in my ears. I don't want to be reminded of the dregs of society again. Y'all are bad enough. It's a joke. Calm down. I have to say that because people freak out. They think I'm serious sometimes. All right. Do you have Asperger's or something? Take everything literally? Yes, I do. No, I don't mean that's not a slight. I actually have an Asperger's son. That is not an attack. I deal with people all the time who take things very literally. So sometimes when I joke, they take it literally, and they're like, you know. I don't remember my original Cisco number. Oh my god. EasyChat is not representing society, but if you look out the window, you realize it's the same. Oh. I have so many anecdotes related to that I don't want to share because they're kind of sad. They're sad and they'll piss somebody off again. And I'm trying to be a better person. And it's Sunday after all. You have Asperger's. Nothing wrong with Asperger's. Look, when I talk about it, I don't talk about it. People, there's like this. Okay, I got to clarify something here. So when I talk about autism, people on Twitch are so used to using autism as a slight and talking about it that way. You must be autistic. When I'm talking about literally. I'm talking about literally because I live and have helped dozens of autistic people, including working with the Autism Society. Because I have 2 autistic kids of my own. So when I talk about it, I mean it. I mean, stop being so Asperger's about it. And that doesn't mean it's an attack. It means they're, being really literal and like not, being upset or offended, and which I do too. I actually think I have a little bit in me. That's why I like bounce up and down. It's not just the coffee. I swear to God, I have a little bit in me. I can't prove that, but I feel like I do. Like you're good at your job. Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. For most of your job, the technical aspects of your job, it's a great strength. Absolutely. About me, about 7 times now, the 6 months I've changed. So intriguing. Oh man, that's actually very kind. Most people are like, no, fuck no, I'm not reading that. Did you hear the guy that I banned yesterday who did that? They come in here, first thing he said was some Twitch streamer drama, and then he's like, dude, have you read the about page? No, nobody does that. This is why I went to, you have to wait for 10 minutes before you can talk to me now. Yep. I extended it. Not even the trolls are willing to wait that long. That's not a challenge. In case you're one. In case you are one. It took me 5 years to choose the word after being a volunteer to save the children. Yeah. But now I know it's context. Most people just use their own context. Yeah. But this was really hard. I can't have a serious conversation about autism because so many people have abused the word. You can't even use it. They've kind of memeified it. The really ironic thing is that some of the people who meme that word actually have autism, which is it's just so weird. What do we got? All right, so what am I doing here? I want to find something else to do. Oh, I have to publish my video, so I'm going to use my really cool script. I'm going to show you. I always show this magic off because it's so much fun to me. So right now I have this empty video with the draft state, no description, right? Watch this. Alakazam, and a little Sundays in the background, and a lot of bash. Cast, uploads sync, and it will go through, and it will update. It. My pearl tingles. And if I reload over here, and then what do I get? If it worked, please work. Look at the magic. You see what I did? It transformed into like a lifeless upload file to a fully described document. Oh shit. I know why I did that, because I forgot what the tags thing. Oh, I can fix it a better way. Watch. Because I can just run the sync again and it'll work. Yeah, watch. This is so cool. Even if I made it, I don't care. Look, I think you should be able to say the stuff you made is cool. Without some sort of false I mean, Bear does it all the time. It's a joke. It's a joke. I mean, we all want to think our stuff is cool. We want to show it off. You should stream so you can show off your cool stuff. Come on, you should be able to do that. You know, and it's not bragging. It's like, you know, false, you know, whatever. I have a feeling I'm about to test something that I haven't tested in a bit, so I'm a little scared. If I do that, I think it will actually resync it. No, it didn't. Damn. You know I didn't. Ooh, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. I think I can make it resync. I've never done this, so I'm in uncharted territory. I think if I rename the title to match this, that's the criteria for doing it. So if I save it, it might actually redo the description, and I don't have to actually fix it. So you think your stuff is cool? You should. I think you should. You know, even your simple stuff. Yeah, my stuff's broken too. If I made it and it doesn't work, it's still cool because I made it. Exactly. I made this. I want to hear it. Oh, fuck. No, it's not working. It's not working. You know what that demands, right? That's my software. That's like one of my favorite clips lately. We have to do a clip fest. We did 2 full days of doing clips. So yeah. Anyway, wait. Title. Where's the title? All right. So actually, blah. All right. So go back here. I'm gonna have to fix this by hand, unfortunately. Damn it, Rob. You know what? I need to make a. You know what? I'm sorry. This is all gonna go into my study class. Everybody's gonna be like, "There's no Kubernetes here." I'm sorry, but I'm kind of off the rails. This video is also not going to be monetized because it's got Sundays in the background, but I don't care. I don't care. Thanks to our sponsors and subs, etc. So that's what I was trying to show you, is it does all this by default, right? And oh my god, is it Minikube going to be the thing? That's cool. Just wait for tomorrow. It's M Day. Brain is sad and not working after Sunday. Yeah. Wait. That's part of a song from like my childhood, I think. Why are you? It is, right? Sunday is a special day. It's a day. No, Saturday is a special day. It's the day we get ready for Sunday. I have got so much random shit in my head. You have no idea. You know, primary songs I learned when I was 7 years old. Advertisements from the 70s and 80s. And it just all comes out on stream. It's kind of crazy. It's just like a, you know, it's like a free flow brain association. It's like LSD without the LSD. I would imagine. That's one drug I ain't touching ever. That is like a weird fucking drug. Apparently people are doing it, like, including, we're not supposed to talk about drugs, never mind. So, what's her face? There you go. There's your Podman video. Huzzah! I'm done. I'm done with that video anyway. What's next? I really don't know. I think we've concluded everything. Maybe I don't want to piss people off by saying, hey, you know, I could put a comment in there saying I don't talk about anything at all after X number of time. You know, if I start talking about Kubernetes now, people are gonna be pissed because they're gonna say you talk about it at the end and you talk about nothing but other stuff for an hour. They'd be right. So it's time for me to go for a walk or a run or something. It's 2:20. It's a nice afternoon. When I come back, I will be relaxing in whatever way I find appropriate. So I don't know if I'm going to put that in schedule. I have to vacuum my room before I do that and do some cleanup because it's Sunday, the day that we do work now because I'm a heathen. I got 666 carved on the back of my ass. That was pretty cringe. I'm so sorry. I just, you know, I was Mormon and now I'm not. which means I drink booze on Sunday and coffee. You do not want to see me when I go running because I actually do take my shirt off because I want more vitamin D. Not a pretty sight. I care not. Because it's so important. It is. Oh, that's my phone. It's so totally important to get vitamin D, people. It is. You got to get your vitamin D. You got to get your vitamin D. Magic. Hey, Wesley. It's kind of magic. I think I'm done now. So to my YouTube friends, I'm gonna be ending this stream so that this gets cut off and stored in the right place on the right playlist. Maybe changing the category and bring it back up. I don't know. I need to probably poll my YouTubers. I don't know if having a chill music streaming to YouTube with Fish is useful or not. But I have been playing Chill Up again lately in the background. I don't want you to ever depend on it, but if you want to turn it off, it's fine. So Vera, I know, doesn't like music. Yeah, I know. He doesn't like music. And this music has been random and fun, but I'll stop it. So, but when it's not me speaking, I might occasionally put that on. And it'll just be me talking. Plus it helps me stay focused. All right, so bye, YouTubers. You can come to the Twitch if you want. I just always have on something else as well. Yeah. FYI, I leave before you do. Bye, Jalopy. Sorry we didn't get to what you wanted to cover. We covered a lot though, and on Monday I'm gonna be covering all the Jupyter Hub is gonna be all live. All the stuff I'm gonna be doing is gonna be live. We made a lot of really huge discoveries, by the way, regarding images. So if you are gone for the day, I'm just going to be saying it. I'll be putting the Jupyter Hub stuff on the schedule for Monday. So pretty much all day Monday, I'm going to be doing Jupyter Hub in Kubernetes work, learning along the way, but it's work. So I'm not going to be taking time to answer too many questions during that. You made me revisit the JHub stuff. Oh, no. And specifically, I'm going to be creating images. It's to deploy in your home lab. Nice. I'm glad it inspired you. But I have that entire lab, so that's coming. If you're still interested in that kind of stuff, that includes being able to just run Jupyter Hub in there with. I haven't got an Istio sidecar or anything like that. It's just plain old. Minikube is really great because it gives us the routing, so I'll show you that. We've got the type of configurations in place, but we've decided that we don't actually want that because it has to be a standard image. Otherwise, it'll create a zombie out of this thing, and it'll force people to kill their namespace thing. We can talk all about that. So if you're interested in Jupyter Hub and working with an actual rather complicated application deployed into Kubernetes with using Helm and some scripts, then you can take a look and join me on Monday. That's the next significant thing that I'll be doing. There's a very outside chance that I'll be doing some shell scripting tonight, or some Go coding, maybe some boost writing. I don't know, but the way things are going, I'll probably just be relaxing and just chatting and stuff. I really enjoy this part about my weekend. I've been able to take back my weekends lately, and I know it seems like I'm not accomplishing a lot during that time, but it helps. It helps keep the balance. So that's all. That's all I really have to say. Make sure you check out the schedule and see what's coming up. I've been really good about keeping the schedule up to date, which is, if you know me, is a thing. Because I don't do most of it. Do you miss most of that stuff? Black Mouse, did you see that I've been, I mean, it's not as fun, right? It's not as fun, but I actually do post all that video. The Jupyter Kubernetes stuff has its own playlist. So it's long. It's like 4-hour videos and stuff. I don't know if you want to watch it, but it's there if you want to watch it. Russum can't, his time zones don't match either, and so he watches it. He watches it while he's on the train. He was telling me. This is some of my great memories. One last thing I want to just announce. This a little bit of an admin thing. I did recently. I made a video about why I'm getting rid of Docker. It's now been 12 hours since then. I plan on archiving, not Docker, Discord. I plan on archiving Discord since we have an odd people here. I'm just going to say it since there's more people here right now. Go watch the video. I get a little bit emotional in that video, but well, not in a bad way. And it describes why I'm dropping Discord. So I'm probably going to do that tonight. I don't know. We're gonna say so. We're yeah. You have to understand that video happened right after some really seriously horrible trolling events. And I don't want to get into it. You can just watch the video. You can get all my emotion. I don't want to bring it up again. I want to stay happy. So, no more Docker. We're going to be starting up. No more Discord, right? We're going to be dropping Discord completely. And we're going to move to a new Slack channel, which has not yet been created. I'll be working on that. I don't know what to name it. And we just, And we're dropping Docker because it's been so abused recently, and I don't have time to take care of it. And our moderators are trying their hardest, but they're not doing it. We'll probably be using Slack because it's a tool that everybody has to use. To the open source, use the open source for Slack. I hope so. I don't know. We're going to figure that out, Vera. You probably maybe have some input on that for me. We're obviously we're going to still use a Matrix chat at some point, and we'll have an IRC bridge to it. But if it's at all possible, I would like to create a Slack channel for this community, and I need to know what's going to be happening to them. You have to get them to grant you a license in order to do that. I don't know about that yet. I'll have to go ask them. If it's not possible, it's not possible. If it is, I'll do it. Or it's $5 per user. Are you kidding me? That's a new thing. Yeah. I mean, there's a couple of ways of doing this. I don't know. Well, I'll look at the Slack option, but Discord is definitely going to go away. It's just, we can't have it. It's just not good. And I would rather people use other tools if they're available. So it might be that we only use Twitch chat for a while, and that might be annoying as hell, but that might be the thing, unfortunately. So I'm considering a lot of community options. The problem is that I just don't have the time to maintain them. And after the trolling yesterday, I'm actually still suffering from the repercussions of it. It actually really affected me, and I'm sure the trolls would love to hear that, but it psychologically affected me in ways that I don't want to talk about. So, I don't want that to ever happen again. And that means if that means chopping off an entire, part of our community, unfortunately, that's what it means. And I actually talk all about that. I don't want to get into it. There's a video. You can go watch the video. And I'm not letting anybody in. So if that's not what happens, then this is what will happen. If Slack isn't available, because I didn't know about that till now. IRC is an option, yes. But I've used IRC before. Actually, Vera set up some fantastic IRC bridge that also got abused. So, and there's ways around being abused. Yes, I know. We can set up voices and all that stuff. Get the exercise. I'm going to do that. What I'm trying to tell you is watch the video, because I haven't got to the main punchline here. I'm not letting anybody in the chat, on the screen or in the new chat thing, until you send me an application and email and you tell me why you want to be a member of this community. It could be and I talk about it in the video, so please watch it. And I'm very serious. I'm not letting anyone in that I have not received a personal email from. If the email is anonymous, fine. But I am not letting anybody in who I have not personally received an email and approved. And that's going to go forward. I'm going to keep our community very curated. I am going to be picky about who gets in, but it has nothing to do with education or experience. So at one point, the only people that will be printed anything on the screen they will have to be members. And I'm not talking about subs and paying money. There's no money involved at all. I just have to at least get to know you and read your emails so that I can know who you are. As you've noticed, this last 2 hours, you just send me an email. Just send me an email from any account. It can be an anonymous account. Okay. And you just have to tell me why you want to be a member. Yeah. Number one BS. I'm sorry, Vera. There are people that might not have to email me that I'm already regularly in email correspondence with. I just need to have an email on file. Okay. I need to have an email on file so that I know who to go to. And this isn't so I can spam you. This is so that I can know who my community is, so I can help you better. And so I can curate out the people who are unwilling to do these kinds of things. I only want trusted community members. Okay. But I need to document that trust. And if that's somebody, if you're a coworker of mine, okay, I'll waive the requirement. I've got like 50,000 emails from you. you know, I'm sending you to your account, right? Look, there's plenty of exceptions to the rule, and I'm not saying I won't make an exception, but this is about trust, and I have to be able to trust you, and that you can be a completely anonymous, and I can still trust you if you've got a really good history of not doing anything bad. But when shit goes down on my stream, I need somebody to map it to. And not only that, I need to have that email address as the central identifier for the whole system. So I'm doing other things. I've been talking about building the bit system, giving you points for stuff like that, fun things like that. Again, no money is associated with any of this, right? I need a unique identifier for you. And the unique identifier will be your email that you send me. The email can be a completely anonymous Proton Mail account. I don't care. But that's going to be your unique identifier. And then any actions in chat or anything are going to be associated with that email. So you can have a Twitch account, you can have an IRC account, you can have this account over here and here and here, and you're just going to need to be able to send me an email from that account so that you can authenticate that I know who you are. Because at that point, then I'll build systems, I'll build Proxy rules or whatever that'll actually add extra abilities to whatever when I add different layers. So like when I add chat filters, or when we whatever, I need a unique identifier, and that identifier is going to be your email. And that way, no matter what system we end up building, including our own, I can use that as the identifier. That's the main reason for it. So I can trust that ID. I can track behavior to that ID. So if there's some shit that goes down that's not appropriate, I can give you a warning and talk to you or something like that. If you think it's data collection, that's fine. Anonymous data collection happens all the time. If it's the price of avoiding what happened, then I'm totally okay with that. It's absolutely data collection. That's exactly what it is. You're giving me your primary key. That's what you're giving me. If you know databases at all, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, Protobuf is awesome. It is. And that's one of the reasons I want to do it. I do want to build a database. I want to build a database of you, and the database will have your data. It will have everything you've ever chatted potentially in a log, and it will have, and so if you don't want to do any of those things, it's all optional. You don't have to do it. I am not going to like single you out or sell your shit to anybody. I don't do that shit, but I definitely want to be able to track you. You know why? Because that level of accountability is going to keep you from doing some shit that you regret, and you're going to make mistakes just like I do, and that's fine, but it's definitely going to shut the trolls down. And I should go with MongoDB. No, I don't know what I'll use. We'll find out. But I am trying. What I need to do, I've been wanting to do this a long time. This is a replacement for my SkillStack mentored community. My SkillStack mentored community, you'll see me building the software, by the way, if you want me to help me build on the software. The software that I've had all along, really good database for that use case. No, it's not. I know what you're trying to get at, but no. I don't, it's fine. I disagree. I'm not attacking you. Please don't think I'm attacking you. Bottom line, yes, I'm keeping track of your data to your benefit. And if you don't agree with that, fine, go someplace else. You can make yourself anonymous, and all that, but I'm going to be keeping track of any information you want to give me so that I can make your experience better. And one of the main reasons for this is I talk to Abhi all the time, our SRE recruiter, and he's constantly looking for people. And again, I am never going to get a cut from any kind of referrals or anything. I never intend to do any of that. Cassandra probably, yeah, there's different ones. And it depends on how much data is going to be in there and stuff. But another reason I want to do this is that when somebody says to me, when somebody chats a thing to me, I already have the chat logs for this, right? So there's lots of practical reasons to do this. So sometimes you guys will say something in Twitch, right? And you'll have a link or something. I'm like, damn, who was talking about that one thing that one day? And I want to go back and be able to search my community quickly and see and find the chat that was related to that thing across all platforms. I want to be able to search that chat. And by the way, the tool that I'm talking about building, the community builder or whatever we end up calling it, is all going to be FOSS. It's going to be 100% dedicated to building community and using a way to manage them all and help them, if they want to, communicate with each other and stuff like that. Again, it's all opt-in. I'll never ask for things like phone numbers and stuff like that. I think that's inappropriate. I did. This is exactly the same thing that I did for my community. Okay, so I think not only does it's like a community a community of trust, but I think it's going beyond that. It's providing value. InfluxDB is a good one. Influx is a chrono. InfluxDB is probably our primary one. Not to mention the fact that I actually placed somebody who's an employee over there now. So I might have to talk to him about that. It's just IRC again. We're definitely going to use IRC, but I want to use the bridge to Matrix. Vera, could you please look at Matrix? If you are just shooting the breeze and you want to figure, tell me why Matrix is good or bad. We can just use plain old IRC on Freenode now. If you, not Freenode, but the other one. I definitely want to add RC in there. I definitely do. Why does the database have company behind it? That's a good point. I don't know. It's just yeah, it's time space. I know it's just time, but a lot of the chat that we're doing is time based. That's one of the reasons I thought of it. Because I mean, we're gonna have. I think we could probably use. I think we could probably use something like Influx for chat log. Yeah. So I was just gonna say, I think Influx for chat log might be good. LibreChat, yeah, I know, but I also want to build it on Matrix. Matrix is pretty cool too, and it has some integration layers that are a little bit better than IRC. Personally, like if you want to talk about it or not, why does the average person watch this right now care? The reason you care is because Discord is going away, and you're not going to be a member of this community at all unless you do that. You can watch the YouTube videos and you can participate in Twitch without giving me any of this. But if you want your chat, if you want me to read your chat and respond, you have to be a member of the community. The stuff that I read that's on the screen, at some point the volume is going to go up so high. It's starting to get there. It did this one during OSCP days when we had 200 people per stream. We're not doing that for a while for lots of reasons that are funny and varied. But eventually the volume of chat is going to go up so much that I'm automatically not even going to look at chat that's not from people from the curated community. I'm not even going to read it, because it's all up to the community to answer and moderate and do all that stuff. I don't need a mail too, no. No, I just need the email address. Again, the email address is mostly a unique identifier. It should be and can be completely anonymous. If you want to tell me more information about yourself, that's fine, but I'd almost suggest not doing so, because I don't want to have your personal information on file. I don't. At a certain level, if I have certain personal information on file, all sorts of like legal things kick in. And I don't want that, right? I don't want to, but besides, if I get hacked, I don't want them to get anything but your anonymous email address. The worst thing they possibly could do is spam you, and read your chat. And that's up to you. So yeah. So that's where we're at. But I just want you to get a repair for that. I'm going to archive. I understand somebody told me yesterday that I can archive the Discord. So I don't want to be very afraid of losing content. I don't know how much I'm going to go through it. There's a lot of bad stuff in there. I'm just incorrect information, not necessarily trolling stuff. So, excuse me. All right, time for me to go and do my run. I actually burned up all that time. That's the other thing about this too, is this is going to allow me to allow YouTube people to chat. So we don't have that many YouTube viewers right now, but people on YouTube or wherever you're coming from, I'll be able to coordinate all of that and be able to read your stuff and give you equal priority. And I am going to tell you this, you will have reputation points that I give by me. And I know that's going to create a weird scenario where, potentially sucking up stuff. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but I definitely am going to have a point system. It'll be a little bit for fun. And no, I can definitely make the bridge for YouTube if we do it on Matrix. Absolutely guarantee you that. I've already done it. I've already done the thing that, no, it doesn't. No, I saw the API cost. It's fine. It's fine because if we did it per day, it depends on the volume. It depends. You're talking about the API stuff, right? Yeah. We'll see. Yeah. Well, I will be canceled within a few minutes. What are you talking about? Why will we be canceled within a few minutes? Because, what are you talking about? You'll be canceled? Are you not going to be canceled? We'll fight and chat real time. Oh, because of how many times you sent a message? I'm not going to, no, I think, okay, you're reading and then I'm going to give you a budget. No, I'm not doing that. It's not, no, it isn't. No, you get a certain number for free. Yeah. I've done it already. You remember when we were doing the bridge? I actually looked back and saw. If you give me karma, karma points. It's not karma points. It's fucking no. It's not karma points. It's just points. It's just 1 point. I might not even do it. I've been saying, hey, do you want blah blah blah. I almost don't want to do it because people will get competitive if I do it. You know what I mean? I've been doing it for kind of fun, but I'm really. Last time I tried to do any kind of point system when I did skill books, it went horribly wrong. It went horribly wrong. It created a competitive atmosphere and a hacking atmosphere. I hope it's a joke, but the thing is I just don't know. I legitimately am worried. I'm worried that that kind of thing would be a thing. If I might not even make it visible. I might not even make it visible so people can't compare. The reason it would be like a shadow MMR for RTPX Rob. 10,000 points for Googling you. Oh, right. True, you found me. I know, dude. Yeah, I mean that's why I don't want to make a comparison about who gets the most value and stuff. It's like sibling rivalry. I don't want that. It's whatever. I don't know. I'm a little worried of that. I'm legitimately worried about having people. But if I here's the reason. The primary reason I want to do that is I want to give when we start getting a certain volume of chat, and I have to pick only a certain number of messages within a certain number of time. I'm going to be filtering out the messages that don't meet the bar. And I want to be able to make sure that certain voices are always heard, such as Vera and Taniwa. And that's, I'm not picking favorites here. Black Mouse lately has been completely, one of my most helpful people. And honestly, that's what it is. It's like, based on how much are you helping me? I'm totally selfish. How much are you helping me, and how are you? And not only that, but it's promoting an atmosphere of providing helpful, useful comments. There's nothing wrong with random fun comments, obviously, but the people that are providing they're really thinking about their comment, and they're making really, really valuable comments. I want them to surface. I want them to surface in the chat so that I will see it. And this is kind of a growing. We don't have the level of participation and growth yet that would cause us to start to have this. But we're starting. We're starting to get it. We're starting. The trolling and the stuff that's happening, and we're about to go over 10K. We've had. You're just chatting, but you're still being extremely helpful. So this is my way of sort of letting what I determine to be sort of the cream of information in the crop, to come to the surface and be there. And it's another way. I don't want to silence people who are new, just beginning, but let's say it's not a thing yet, right? But let's say some Twitch streamers have this. They have maybe 10, 20 messages coming in, per second. And some of them are emojis and other things, right? So I actually want to create a system that filters that stuff based on some level of intelligent algorithm. It's not really going to be machine learning or anything, but it's going to be, I want to say, okay, these people have provided, good comments. We're going to bring, it's not SEO either. It's like, I want to bring those. So if somebody's emoji chatting and they're just, or somebody's like, if they ask a question, I'll make like a not a blacklist, but I'll make a list that says, what terminal are you using? Stuff like that. It's absolutely a hidden rating. That's what I was saying. It's like a hidden MMR. And so this is going to be the people whose voice is going to be heard more than other people eventually. And I get to decide, or whoever else wants to run their own stream, they can decide. If you guys, I could even have a committee of people that help make the decision about who gets to be heard and who doesn't. Am I censoring you? Absolutely. Absolutely am. I'm not even going to hide from it. I am definitely going to be censoring. So that new person who needs that, who is totally okay asking a question, what terminal is that? What Z shell theme is that? which just made me laugh. Not because they asked the question. If someone's going to ask what Z shell terminal is that, and there's 10 of those people versus, Black Mouse who's answering a specific question that I'm asking of the stream, who do I got to filter that out. And it's not being mean to do that. You know what I mean? It's like you should be able to set up your own, your own criteria for what things show up on your stream. And frankly, there's no tool to do this at all right now. There's nothing. It's all about who contributed the most bits and money and who subbed. And that's bullshit. I hate that. So I want to do that. What's your favorite distro? A million times a stream. I know, and that's all. Again, I want you to ask those questions. I am not against you asking that question, but I want to downgrade that question from hitting me, or eventually, I want to be able to automatically respond to that question to you in a whisper. And all of this stuff can't happen until I have an identifier for you. So that's why I'm doing the email thing. That's the primary reason. The more emotional reason is so that I don't get trolled, and that's the reason I really punched on in that video. All right. So you know, and the other thing too, nobody's being silenced here. You're not being silenced. Everybody has the equal ability to send me a message in Twitch until you cross the line and I ban you, and then you're not a participant. Right. So that includes all the what's your favorite distro people. They can ask that question. I'm not promising you I'm going to respond. Maybe the rest of the community will respond to you, and I want them to, just like they have been in Discord. This kind of thing that I'm trying to shoot for is already sort of happening in our Discord at a very slow pace. Difference is I'm not in there. I'm not in there. And think before you type. It's really all it is. That's a really good way to put it. I just want you to think before you type, because and maybe if nothing comes out of this, maybe the community will build up that feeling. If you go into any IRC room and haven't learned the think before you type thing, they actually have lessons on this in IRC before you even participate. You'll get destroyed because it's totally different. It's not Reddit. It's not Twitch. It's not Twitter. If you go into most IRC channels and just the good ones, and you behave in a way that's really clear that you're not even thinking. I mean, anybody that's been around IRC knows the ropes, and there's a lot of good information in IRC. So, if for no other reason, this is for your benefit, so you can learn to kind of think about stuff before you say it, before you write it, before you type it, and that goes for me. It goes for me too. And we can kind of support each other in that regard. I'm a little bit nervous because it does sound like it's not censoring. It's not censoring. It's curating, right? You can still speak as long as what you say doesn't cross certain political boundaries and things like that. Then that are very arbitrary on my part for deciding you're more annoying than usual, or streamer drama. Streamer drama is insta-ban, and I've told you those things. If it's anything, wow. If it's any of those things, then we have to go to the next step, and that is what we're doing here, so we can kind of get to get stuff. I'm talking too much. I'm gonna go now. Bye. And I'm ending that stream. That stream